because it went right back to where it was. So we should. Yeah, we're good. Welcome in, Miss Kim
Hi.
Cosplay. Say
Hi,
hello to the
hello.
people, and if you would give a brief introduction to about yourself to all the people in the chat.
Sure. Hi, hello, friends. My name is KemCosplay. I'm a variety streamer who has been a cosplayer for over 10 years. I decided to start streaming in August of last year, and I have loved it. And as a result, I've been playing mostly kids' educational, nostalgic video games, cozy content, and then real weird indie stuff. So we have a real good time on my channel.
Now, I met Kim probably about a month ago, roughly a month ago. I raided out one night when I was playing some Pokemon. I believe you were shiny hunting as well. I believe that's where we met each other at.
No, because I do not have that game, so that wouldn't be me. But that's okay. It's all
Wondering,
good. We know each other. That's all that
I
matters.
could have swore it was from a Pokemon night. I could have swore, but I could be wrong here as well.
I've been playing Let's Go Eevee.
That's
So
probably what it was. I believe
that's
that's what it
probably
was.
what it
It
is.
was it
Because
was
I
a
was like,
Pokemon night.
there you go. So I was playing, I've been playing Let's Go Eevee because my dog's name is Eevee. So, and it's
Nice.
also following with the semi-nostalgic brand I seem to put myself into. So,
It works. All right,
well,
so
thank you.
the way that I like to start these interviews off, I like to do kind of a mental health check on my friends, people who come on here, because you're on the channel. I'm
Yay.
considering you a friend.
Yay!
That's just gonna be how it works. So I would like to ask you mentally, how are you doing?
Today, doing pretty good. I don't know why I said doing twice, so maybe I'm not that good. But yeah, I've just been keeping it real chill. I've been working on a lot of stuff for my subathon, which is coming up on August 14th.
Mm-hmm.
It's my first ever subathon that I'm doing, and so a lot of hours are going into that. But yeah, it's that creative drive and the juice is flowing, and I'm just keeping happy and busy. That's what I'm trying to do.
It's the best way to do it, right there.
Right.
All right. So another question pertaining to mental states and whatnot. When it comes to streaming, I know that myself and a lot of other streamers that I know have had dealt with being burnt out or just being overwhelmed because of streaming. Whenever you get into that mindset when mentally your head's just not in it, how do you bring yourself back to where you're evened out and you're like, okay, everything's fine?
Yeah. I think I've only ever canceled stream like maybe a couple times because of just like overwhelm or burnout. I don't think I ever cancel for that reason. But honestly, I just kind of pull up my bootstraps and just go and do it. I have a theater background. So, if you're having an off day, you can't not show up for the show, right? And if you just end up doing it, then more often than not, you're going to feel better because you have your community there and you're doing an activity together. And I think it's the same thing with like if you go to the gym when you don't feel like it, you're releasing endorphins and then you feel better after, right? At least that's the hope, that's the goal. So yeah, I just, knowing that I have people that I can talk to there, it's always a safe space for me, and it's just I'd rather be there than not be there. So
My chat bullies me. I come in, I'll be like,
yeah,
hey, I had kind of a shit day, and then it's just game over. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna add to that. No, I'm just kidding, chat. Don't hate me. I'm just playing. I'm just playing with y'all. But that's a good thing because, pushing through it sometimes is the best way to do it, and just having that mental strength to be able to say, okay,
yeah,
this is going to be a safe place when I go in here. It's fine to get through it. I think that's a really good answer when it comes to stuff like that, because a lot of people don't have that mental aspect to where they're like, you know what, everything's gonna be fine. And once I hit go live, I'm gonna be good.
Yeah. And I mean, it is important to like know when you've reached beyond that point, right? Because sometimes you do just need to like unplug for a day. Like I've had it to where I've like left my phone at home for a whole day. And it's partly why I switched my schedule, because my partner has different days off than I do for streaming, and I had to keep leaving my time with him to go stream. So my stream suffered as a result, because it felt like I was like going to work instead of like coming to play. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good analogy. So like I treat this like I'm going to work. But the difference
Mhm.
is I treat this like I'm going to work because I actually love this job. And
Right.
that'll be
Yeah.
something we'll touch on later on. But
Yes.
like I go to my actual job and I absolutely dread it. But the days I don't dread
Mhm.
it are the days that I normally stream. So like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm excited to get to
Right.
work. I'm more excited to clock out because I know I get to come home and do this. So it's just one of
Right.
those mentally like it's I hate my job, but I tolerate my job. But I also
Yeah.
know that afterwards I have a second job that I absolutely love, and that's doing stuff like
Right.
this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's just so important too, because that makes streaming like your getaway from that to like work on the passion project, right? You
yes,
know, especially since like you're doing the YouTube and everything else that goes behind it, which that by itself is basically a full-time job. Like
yes,
that's a lot of work. So, you know,
it,
the fact that you get to have something away from that too is also important, I think, because
yeah.
that way you get to kind of disconnect. So,
It's I'm not gonna lie to you. It does come with its level of difficulties doing
oh,
everything because
absolutely, yeah.
I work 12 hours a day. I'm a
Hmm.
father and I'm a husband. So like finding that happy median where I'm still
Right.
doing all my duties as a husband and as a father, on top of still being able to go and do my job and stream,
Yeah.
it does weigh a toll, but it also isn't that
Yeah.
bad. But
Yeah.
you find the healthy rhythm and everything, and it does take some time, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean, I can't speak to any of those things, right? Like I have a partner, but I don't have any of those responsibilities. I'm not a mother, I'm not married, right? So,
Hmm.
and then my job is I work in social media for a couple different companies posting a few times a week. And, you know, so Twitch is basically my main source of income, which I do not make much. Let's be very clear about that. So, it's a bit of a struggle bus. So, you know, but at the same time I'm appreciating every moment that I have right
Yes.
now. So, yes.
So I personally I tell everybody, uh, I don't do Twitch for money right now. Ultimately,
Yes.
everybody that does do this and wants this as a full time, yes, of course, I want money off of it. But
Mhm.
I don't. I tell everybody that supporting me with a view or sharing
Mhm.
my what I come out with is more appreciative because that helps me grow. And then when the
Right.
money does start flowing in, so the money I get goes directly into my stream. So
Right.
any money I
That's
pull in, I
yeah.
set to the side and use for another upgrade. So like my next
Oh
upgrade is going
yeah.
to be for a better mic. I
Yeah.
have it picked out. I have it planned out. I just got to hit click whenever I actually get the money for it.
Yes, yes. I mean, for me, it's like I'm currently raising for TwitchCon because I have so many wonderful Twitch friends that I've met. I went to two of their weddings, which uh they married each other, so that was convenient. But you know, but they're actually in chat, which is wonderful. But basically like they're going to TwitchCon and they're like, "Are you going? You could room with us." And I'm like, "I don't know if I can afford that." So, but my chat has been, you know, just so kind and they want to support me in that way. And when I first started, everything that I made, like every single penny went into the emotes and the alerts and just all of those things. That's like a quality of things for stream,
Hmm.
you know. And because I think that's where I spent most of my money, honestly, was just like making sure that them magical trash panda emotes were very good.
They are phenomenal. I'm
Thank
not gonna
you.
lie.
Thank you.
I see them
Yeah.
in the chat right now. They're fucking awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so I say without further ado, let's start jumping into some questions. All
Do
right.
it.
So my first question is, what is your ultimate goal when it comes to Twitch or streaming content creating in general?
Yeah. So, my everyone that I've ever known in my life has always said like, "Oh my god, you'd be so good at Disney. You should be on the Disney Channel. You're like made for acting." And that kind of thing. And like I said earlier, I have a theater background
Hmm.
and I actually forced myself to do all of those things because I was scared to. So when I started college, I was always interested in theater, but I was just like, I had like stage fright. So I took lots of theater classes. I started musical theater and then went to straight theater. And then I was just like, camera. that's a thing because YouTube would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took an acting for the camera class because I actually had the red light phobia. You know, like when you turn on the camera and you're like, and you just freeze up and you have no idea what to say and you're just sweaty and you're like, huh. So, I mean, you wouldn't know it looking at me now, right? Because I'm basically like so comfortable being in my own skin on camera because I'm not trying to be anything other than as authentic as I am.
Yeah.
As weird as that is. So, I'm sorry, I already forgot the question.
What is your ultimate goal?
So ultimately, I want to work towards growing my community, having a larger community together, and having it be able to hopefully be a large financial help, if not a full financial help for me in my life. But honestly, as of current, it's just to grow my community and meet a whole bunch of new people because it's been amazing. And yeah, just onwards and upwards. That's where I go with that.
Growth is a extraordinarily important part about
Yeah.
Twitch and
Yeah.
social media in general. Now, you said you had stage fright, so let me give you a little follow up real quick. How did you get
Sure.
over your stage fright?
I dove into it head first, which one of my favorite things that I was ever told was it's basically like just press record, right? And it's I wish I had known that when I started doing stage stuff. But it's basically like just go. Just do it. Cuz one of my favorite drag queens, Katya Zamalachikova, she likes to say that if you're not embarrassed by what you did yesterday, you're not doing it. You know what I mean? Like there's always room to just like, right? Like I have seen my first ever stream. Whew, oh boy.
So,
Everything from like lighting to camera angle to like wearing too much makeup to the content itself. I'm like, huh. But I did it and I grew from that, right? So for me, when I first started, it was just a matter of like, all right, I gotta, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to. So just do the thing, which I understand is very hard for a lot of people, but
So, speaking of looking back on previous content, I wish I could go back and slap the shit out of myself for some of the things I used to do. All right, so
why?
Once upon a time, it's been a while now. When I first started using a camera, when I first got my PC, I had imported my camera onto my OBS, or at the time Streamlabs, and I wanted my camera to be bigger, so I stretched the image, and it was terrible.
Yep.
And then I decided, all right, let me put a border around it, and then the border was just barely off centered of it. So I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's fine, nobody will notice it. I used to get so much hell for that.
I believe it. Yeah.
Night night, buddy. Sorry, little man's going to bed. But
Bye, good night.
But yeah, so
good night. Yeah. I have your stream on the side and it's like slightly lagged. So
yeah, I don't know how to fix that. But so like looking back on previous content, I get the quote that you said, if you're not embarrassed by what you did, you're not doing something right. I agree with that because like looking back on previous content, super embarrassed on myself. But it's a learning experience. At the end of the day, it's a very good learning experience.
Yes.
We got a lag.
Tried to carry that even in my everyday life with like little things. So when I was trying to get over acting for the camera and acting on stage and all of those things, I found that being more honest in my everyday life helped with that because I didn't have to hide behind anything, right? So I wasn't like, outwardly obnoxious on purpose or anything. I literally just started with if I had a positive thought or idea, like, oh, I like that person's shirt, I would just tell that person, right? Because that already like there's no negative there. The most negative thing is that they can't be offended. I just complimented them, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like they might be like, oh my god, thank you, but like that's it. best case scenario, we both have a way better day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Those
So,
little bitty
I've been
compliments
doing
like
that
that
since
will.
about 2016, 2017. And just like overall, in general, it's just made it just a lot better in my everyday life. That also helps with mental clarity too, because I don't have to like worry about what people might be thinking or anything, because I just say what I'm thinking as long as it's positive. So.
I say what I'm thinking, even if it's negative. I think negative critiques are also important, but you got to find the place to draw the line. Also, okay, wait, we have a lag. 1 second. Chat, please bear with us. I think her internet's lagging because I don't believe it's on my end. Showing all green on my side. What just happened? No, internet's fine. Chat, y'all can still see me properly, right? Okay, so that's a new one. Well, I don't know what just happened, but please bear with me. Technical difficulties. Let's all right. Kim, can you hear me?
Hello?
All right. I'm gonna move you back to the other spot. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Sorry.
There we go. No worries. That was so strange, but no worries.
Yeah. So
move it on.
let's say, chat. Y'all know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
These things happen. Technical difficulties.
Oh
and
yeah.
whatnot.
Well, I tell that to my chat every single time to the point that they expect it. I'm like, if you don't have some kind of technical malfunction, you're not a real streamer. You're just not. There's no way.
my chat said Johnny showed up and everything broke. Technical difficulties, internet problems, and whatnot. These things happen. Right. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, there's no way that was my fault. I know, like, I'm looking at my numbers. I'm like, all my internet says it's good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to close some background things on my end and just make sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if you could hear me that whole time. I hope so. It was pretty soul bearing. But, you know, who knows? Who knows?
All right, so Biggie, Sombra, Johnny, Cineax, all y'all, welcome into the stream. All right, so I think we're just gonna move forward with the next question, just because I don't know exactly where it cut out, because I was worried that it was my fault. All right, so let's move to the next question. I apologize.
That's all good.
What got you inspired to start doing content? Because I know you started off with cosplay. So what inspired you to start off with cosplay, and then we'll move into content creation?
Sure. Thank you so much for bringing cosplay into the conversation, because it's literally half of my name.
Yeah.
So I am very passionate about it. So cosplay for me started in 2009 when I graduated from high school. So there you go. And instead of asking for like a car or a vacation, I reside in California and I just wanted to go to Anime Expo. So
jealous.
You know, I had my priorities in order, frankly. So my family took me to Anime Expo for the first time in 2009. And I saw two of my favorite characters, which was Naruto walking down the stairs next to Sora from Kingdom Hearts. And I was just like, this can happen.
Oh. And pause. 2 seconds. We got to raid. I apologize. Welcome in, Raiders. How are y'all doing? Nubsy, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? What did you stream? I'll get you a shout out in just 1 second. Welcome in, Raiders. I am the Riddler 1370. I am Twitch's favorite Viking in the making. Not quite number one yet, but one day I will be there. Welcome in. We are doing an interview at the current moment. Nubsy, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. We are going to jump over there Johnny or one of my other mods, if y'all are in here, if y'all can give him a shout out really quickly, I would appreciate that. But yes, thank you for that. I do appreciate you. We're gonna jump back to the interview right now. All right, sorry, apologize. I forget my streamer bot automatically loads up the raid screen.
No worries, it's all good. I sometimes forget to change screens entirely, and I'll just play the game with like this. So it happens.
I've been there. I've done that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Naruto at Anime Expo. Let's go.
Yes. Yes. So I saw Naruto and Sora cosplayers walking down the stairs next to each other, and my brain exploded Skittles, is what I like to say. It's just a whole rainbow of just sweetness and amazing. And so the very next year, I was like, first off, I'm going next year, and secondly, I want to dress up. So I ended up convincing a few of my friends to go with me as Kingdom Hearts characters. So I was Kairi for my first purchase costume. And then I was a Team Rocket grunt for my first ever made cosplay. And then,
nice.
Yeah. So from there, it just went onwards and upwards, and I was just like fascinated with it. So my favorite thing is making props. Can I show over camera a couple of my babies?
Sure.
That I am so proud of. I would love.
So I checked out your Instagram the other day when you was talking about your cosplays.
Yeah.
You have some fucking amazing cosplays.
Thank you.
Gonna throw that out there. I saw some. I'm like, holy crap.
Thank you. So this is my most recent armor. I'll go ahead and show that there. I don't know if you can see that.
That was what made me go to your page and start looking at your other.
Yes.
That one was amazing.
Thank you so very much. So yeah, so this is Monster Hunter armor, and I made it all in I think it was 300 hours, but the hammer only weighs 7.5 pounds. So I was able to carry it around the entire convention, and it is bigger than me. So, but that, that's now, and it took me a while to get to that point. But, now I enter conventions. I'm going to be judging Masquerade coming up really soon. And it's literally just because it's a labor of love. And I was making no money, by the way. I was spending like all of my savings to do it. And I only won my first monetary prize in 2019. So crazy.
Hey, hard work pays off. I can tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was able to make so many relationships and everything. Like, I work for a vendor that goes to all of these conventions, Artisan Studio. They've been sponsoring my cosplay now, and I do their social media. So, I mean, without cosplay, I would absolutely not be the person I am. I would not be as artistically creative as I am. And I wouldn't have the friends that I have, frankly. So it kind of allowed me to also just like, it's the same thing.
We have another internet issue. I do apologize. These things cannot be helped. Wow. All right, let me. Why is that disconnected? Why is it saying that is. What the hell? I have no idea what is actually going on right now, chat. Yo, what's up, Rod? How you doing? I think she's ready to sing that. Yeah. All right, so I have no idea. This is never. What a freeze frame. Facts. All right, let me. This is all new to me, so I apologize. I can't wait to watch this back. All right, I'm gonna exit that really quickly and try and jump into here. Start pulling you in here. Kim, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so I think I'm just gonna, instead of pulling you into the private one, I don't know if that's what's causing this or what.
It might be.
I was gonna say I'm gonna just
here. I will turn on my camera. There we go.
I'll say I'm just gonna
stay in general.
I'll say stick right here, and hopefully nobody's rude and jumps back in.
Sure.
All right. So
And if they jump in, just kick
oh,
them
yeah.
out. Bingo
Oh, yeah.
bonko.
Yeah, they'll get the big boot.
Yeah, no worries. It's all good.
But yeah, sorry, it said something about my connection in Discord was lost, but I was literally looking at my connection in Discord, so I don't know what the hell that was about.
Do not even worry about it, friend. These things happen, and you know, just keep on chugging. I recently added a train sound to my stream deck because my stream just keeps going off the rails. So I'm just like, all right, keep chugging. Choo choo.
I think I was in there to see that the other day. I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was in there the other day. All right. So I apologize for the technical difficulties, everybody.
No.
We'll keep it moving, like you said. We're gonna keep it chugging. Also, that was one hell of a freeze frame.
I have no idea what it was. Like I was so like I was cosplay like passionate talking, and I have no idea what was happening on screen. So there you go.
The funny thing is, I have a prop right beside me that I didn't build, I bought, but it could be used for cosplay. And spoiler alert, maybe one day in the future y'all see this. A bunch of people in my chat has actually seen it before, but I'll show you just because I know I haven't. I have a Stormbreaker.
I can't see it yet. Hold on. The lag. I can't wait. Oh my god. Yes. That's such a good quality one too.
The reason
gosh.
Well, actually, I have Captain America shield in the back as well, and it has like the straps for your arms and everything.
Yes.
So it could be used for cosplaying one day. Maybe.
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes.
I'm very, very new to cosplay, so we'll see one day.
Well, if you ever have any questions,
I know exactly where I'm coming to.
More than happy to answer them. Always.
So I kind of look like Bro Thor from Avengers Endgame because I got the gut and I got the beard.
There you go.
I got that, and we're good. And then if I ever actually get serious about being in the gym, I could possibly do a Captain America one. I'm never gonna be that skinny though. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen so many people who like don't look like the character do the characters, and honestly, ever since multiverse happened, anybody can be anything. So I say just go for it. Frankly,
boom. Y'all heard it here first.
Right?
That Captain America coming soon.
I used to be that way about cosplay too. It was just like, oh, I can't be Wonder Woman because I'm not Amazonian tall and I'm not really strong enough, and I don't think that I have the body she does, and I haven't done it, but that doesn't mean that I can't. You know what I mean? I was the same way about Sailor Moon, and I absolutely have done Sailor Moon before. So, it's just you gotta who cares? As long as you're having a good time.
My thing with doing cosplays is 90% of the characters that I want to do don't have a beard, and I'm not willing to shave it for the cosplay. So that's usually my reasoning.
I mean, I literally have seen like so many men dressed as ladies with full beards, and no one questions anymore. I've seen a pink Chewbacca. So, I say just go for it, frankly. Just do whatever.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's just like, that's the thing about it, right? It's the same thing with Twitch, right? Mm-hmm. There are so many types of streamers. Like, obviously, there's a ton of gaming streamers because that's how it started. That's how you can keep the content fresh and everything. But, I mean, there's the working streams. There's music streams. There's cooking streams, stationery streams. And that's just a few of the multiple myriads of everything ever that's on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So for cosplay, there's all the shows and the comics and the animes and movies and web series and just like anything possible. Plus, people do original characters all the time. So it's just like, I think people have just kind of lost the expectation that things should like look a certain way or whatever, and I think people are just so much more open to just like new and creative ideas in general.
I like it a lot. All right, so second part to our question, you explained the cosplay aspect. Explain what got you motivated, or not motivated, what inspired you to start doing Twitch.
Yes. So I was originally inspired to do Twitch by my friend Kuvi5. She and I used to work together at an ice cream parlor restaurant, and that is all I will say about that. But she started streaming, and she was just like so charming, and we're so similar. I was like, oh, well, we both have kind of a theater background, and she can do that. And the YouTube thing, I don't really know what I want to film yet. Maybe I should try Twitch for a little bit and see if I get inspired. That was the idea. Was like,
Okay.
let me do Twitch to figure out what I want to do for YouTube and go that way. But once I like started and like forced myself to do like actually hop on Twitch, the priorities just flipped. I was like, oh, I love streaming, right?
Oh
Because you
yeah.
get the instant feedback, the instant connection with stuff. And I think that's why even a lot of YouTubers are just kind of like stopping their content and moving to streaming because it's the same kind of thing, so
I
that
agree.
instant feedback.
That
Yes,
yes, the
it's
instant
just
feedback of being able to be like, chat, is everything good? And then you give it like 10, 15 seconds. Somebody's like, oh yeah, you're good. Or hey, you're too loud. That is
yes.
huge because like for example, I've been branching into YouTube, doing YouTube videos. I recorded a video the other day, the entire video, it was like a 25-minute video for a game. Didn't have my mic on
Yes.
at all the whole time.
No.
So I was
Yes.
like, well, scrap this damn video. And then it made me
And
mad. So I was
gone.
like, yeah. So
Yeah.
it made me mad. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll record this again later. Still haven't re-recorded it.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have a YouTube channel still up with the original YouTubes that I made. The most recent one is me doing putting together a table. So it's like literally like a food tray. So, that's fun. And I went for what I think is my strong suit, which is like slightly comedic, bumbling, whatever. But at the same time, it felt too fabricated. I didn't like go out of my way to be funny. I just edited it to what I thought was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And the views speak for themselves. It doesn't have many views, but my VODs of me like cosplaying and playing Sonic or whatever have way more views. So I was just like, oh well, I enjoyed that more anyway. You know what I mean? So
Makes sense.
if it's not baroque, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Agreed. All right, so let's move into the next question. How do you deal with someone not perceiving your content greatly? So like if somebody comes in and is like, hey, this really isn't for me. Or if somebody comes in with critique that you don't really know, like let's say a first time chatter comes in and they're like, hey, this just isn't good. How do you deal with that?
I'm lucky that I chose to go the family friendly route because like I don't curse on my stream, I don't drink on my stream. I do both of those things in my everyday life, but I don't do them on my Twitch because I don't want to encourage the like, oh, I'm already magical trash panda.
Yeah.
So like if I encourage that kind of just like bad mouthing or like talking or, a little bit more adult behavior, I feel like it kind of opens the floodgates for that. So I've been lucky enough that because I've kind of branded myself that way, that I don't really get that very often. The couple of times that it has happened, I don't normally have to do anything. I'm just like, I'm so sorry that you don't like my content. Feel free to come back if you change your mind, but have a great day. And then just, and then if I have a real problem, my mod's just like, boop, and bye. Like, it's one person
Mods
who doesn't
drop the
it.
ban hammer real quick.
Right. Well, it's not even so much a ban is like a kick, like a temporary kick. If they come back, great. But it's at the same time, I'm like, I don't have to cater to what a first time person might say versus somebody who like is willing to like take the time and like know my content. Not to say that like I'm not willing to take critique. Critique is wonderful and I like want that so I can improve. But if you come in and you're like, no, you should do this. Like I had that during a baking stream that I did with Kuvi. They were like, you should dance. And I'm like, I'm glad you think so. I'm not going to. Like, like, I mean, I could, but no, right? No. So.
All right, so let's flop that question. Let's go to if someone's a first time chatter and they come in and they just receive everything you're doing greatly. How does that affect you as a content creator, or how do you deal with that?
if they respond positively, you said?
Yeah, if they just come in and like, hey, your overlays are spectacular. I love the gameplay. I love your energy.
Yeah.
Just coming in with just all around
Yeah.
positive vibes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as like in my everyday life. I'm like, if I have something positive to say, I say it. So I'm just like, oh my god, thank you so much. Like, if it's a lot, I'll like kind of stop reading them aloud. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's just like, yeah, I'm more than happy to like if somebody's, wanting to pick up what I'm cooking, then great, good. I hope they enjoy it.
Nice. Nice. So I have learned coming as a content creator as well. You do have a I don't know about you because you're more family friendly, so
Mhm.
that would probably make things a little bit differently. So actually, let me ask you that: what brought you to the road
Sure.
of wanting to be family friendly? When you started streaming, you're like, I'm just going to be family friendly. What thought process came to that?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I said before that like everyone that I've ever met, worked with, who has seen me working, said, "Oh my god, you'd be so good for Disney." Right?
Oh
So
yes.
it's always that like Disney kind of thing, and every job that I've ever had catered to that kind of environment. Like at
Mm-hmm.
one point I did work for Disney like retail. So like it's literally just like you don't dye your hair, you don't curse in front of people, you can make puns, you can be a little saucy as long as like the kids can't figure it out, you know what I mean? So you can like still have fun with that, and especially Twitch being like PG-13. Let's hope, let's pray. It's I have just done that throughout my entire career already for with every job I've ever had. So it naturally just kind of flows into like who I am as a person because it's been so part of my culture and everything.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense then, because you did say
Yeah.
something about the Disney thing earlier. So like,
Hmm.
not gonna lie, when I started streaming, the thought never crossed my mind family friendly.
Hmm.
Not gonna lie to you, just because
Hmm.
I think my most authentic self is with cursing, or not necessarily cursing, but saying whatever the first thing comes to my mind. I think that's how I'm the
Sure.
most
Yeah.
authentic. And I tell
Yeah.
everybody, if you look at the definitions of the words, none of them are negative. None of them have
Oh,
a
I
bad
agree.
definition tied to them. So to me, they're just
Yes.
words. So if I
Yes.
offend you by saying a word, then
No, no,
I
no.
can't
Yeah,
help
you're
that.
right. For
But
me, like I
huge
curse in my
respect.
everyday life,
Yeah,
right? Yes.
huge
Yeah.
respect for being able to hit the go live button and limit yourself to not be able to cuss and whatnot on stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge
Thank
respects to
you.
that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny because like even my mom like had the hammer down until I was 18 that like you do not curse in my house, you don't do the thing. And I didn't go out like at all. And I
Hmm.
was just starting work my first jobs that like also don't let me curse or anything. And she's so funny. Cuz like the day I turned 18, she was like driving me to school or whatever for like finishing up high school or whatever. And she was like, "Oh yeah, you're 18 now. Fuck, funny, fuck, fuck, fuck." And she just like let all of the ones she's ever been holding like out.
That is
And
hilarious.
yeah. And so in my everyday life, like when I'm with my partner or something, we're playing Mario Kart, yeah. Like it happens. And I'm not gonna apologize for it, right? But it's the same kind of thing as like as much as I love Twitch as a community and that kind of thing, I do want to be sponsor friendly, at least a little bit. Cause I mean, I feel like it's a little bit easier to get a sponsor if you're family friendly. Not that I have any, call me. But it's making that opportunity more prevalent and making the community a little bit wider for some of those who might be a little bit uncomfortable. And then when I do drop any curses, oh my god, clips for days. So it's fun.
That your reasoning for being family friendly with sponsorships pending or potential sponsorships and whatnot. That is actually a really good reason to attempt to not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think if I ever was to be at that point where I do have real sponsorships and they're like, hey, you got to tone this down, I'm gonna be like, or you could just not be offended. So I don't
Mhm.
know. That'd be a very interesting conversation to have in the future with a potential
Yeah.
sponsorship.
Yeah. I mean, like
Speaking of no
some
cursing,
sponsors. Yeah, no cursing. Yeah, because I mean, there are some sponsors who like do not care, and they frankly
Hmm.
encourage it, right? Because it's like it's really like hype speech, essentially, right? It's like an easy way to like get your chat like up and ready if you're like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? So yeah, whoop, there you go. So, but I think, yeah, it helps and it hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I,
can't say it helps because I don't have any. You know what I mean?
I
But
fully, I agree. Like moving forward, that is a good solid reason for you to be like, look, I'm already family friendly. Yeah. So that's a good reason as well. All right, so let's move on. Also, Jovi, thank you for the no cursing. I have my timer set is 5 minutes. If I end up cursing before then, chat will call me out and I'll have to eat a bean boozled bean. So have fun with that.
well,
All right, so Kim's next question: what is your favorite thing about content creation?
mm. So I think it's the same reason that I do uh social media stuff for the company that I work for,
Mm-hmm.
that they were able to offer me that is because I like the idea of putting together something, right? To like being your own director for something. Whether that's like a video post or just a like the content itself for like the actual stream and having an idea. And it's kind of like writing your own show. You're the producer, director, editor. You know what I mean? You're everything when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to creating content. And so, but that also means that it's 100% in your control, which I try not to be a control freak, but when I do, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Maybe that's why I enjoy it so much. I don't know. It's just it's a flurry of creativity at my fingertips that I am in control of.
All right, so let me ask you a follow up with that. When you have something you're in control of, like with your stream,
Mhm.
and something goes wrong, like technical
Mhm.
difficulties and whatnot, what is the
Yeah.
best way that you find to deal with stuff like that?
You
Especially when
roll with the
you,
punches. Oh
especially
yeah.
after you've already
So
went live and it's like I've been
yeah.
here for 20 minutes and I still don't know what's going on.
That has definitely happened to me before. So I'm just technologically but I find so the one class that scared me the most when I was in college was improv. But I'm so glad I took it because it just allows me to just kind of let go. You roll with the punches, you say yes, and you just kind of find a way to move on. Obviously, like it can be extremely frustrating and everything, but I think chat is pretty understanding. At least my chat is. I'm very lucky to have a very supportive chat. Um so it's just you got to roll with the punches because if you just get frustrated and just end it, you know what I mean? Then everyone's disappointed. But if you're
Yeah.
able to just be like, "Wow, that's not working out the way that we expected. Let's move on. Let's do this. Let's just do this other thing. Sounds
My
good. Okay,
my
great."
chat is very understanding with that, and they're also bullies. But I'm like, get it together. You know what you're doing, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on right now.
I have an emo. I'm gonna post it in the chat. But I made this emo because I am so bad at so many things. So they call me a pro. So I'm just like, I'm a pro. I'm a pro, guys. I got it. I'm a pro. I'm a pro. It's fine.
Professional over here.
Exactly. I'm a pro. I got this. Even if I absolutely don't have it and it's nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? So
All right,
it's a nice inside joke.
so I just had a thought. You know, we've talked about
Mhm.
this the other day when we did our promo video.
Yes.
Something special that Kim does for every game that she plays. Her follower emotes, she changes them
That
based upon the game that she's playing. I've never met somebody else that does that. And does that add any extra stress to your setting up for a new game?
it can be a little bit stressful. I've definitely just like left them random whatever. Uh and more often than not my mods will be like, "Hey, your emotes though." And I'm like, "Dang it." And but I'm trying to play the same kinds of games sequentially so that way we
Yeah.
can use those emotes and I just put them in every time. But I got the idea because I had all those empty follower slots and I already had all the emotes that I currently have. and I was about to play Mario Party, and I was like, that'd be so cool if they could just like put a star up or put a fweet up or put like the stickers from the game, like the but why, you know what I mean? And so I ended up just adding those in, and my chat were like, oh, that's really cool. And then since then, like a few of other of my Twitch friends were like, I'm gonna borrow that idea. Thank you so much. So, but yeah, it's I any way to make chat more excited about the chat is, worth it,
Uh,
frankly. It takes me about an
Agreed.
hour or so. So, depending on what I'm looking for.
That
So
was one of the things that when we talked about it, I was like, that is an amazing idea.
thank
I
you.
I really like that idea and thought process. I just don't
Mhm.
think I would love to be able to say, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to borrow that, but I'm not going to lie to
Mhm.
you. I forget I have emotes sometimes, so I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, wait,
Yeah. Yeah.
nah.
Emotes are one of my favorite parts of Twitch. So for me, the emotes was kind of like how I built my brand of the Magical Trash Panda, because I had that idea. But until I got my very, very first emote made, which was like the hugging cheeks cute, this one, um, that's when it became real of like, oh, this is a community. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like the same thing with like all your cute little Viking emotes. Like they're so good. You know what I mean? And especially with
I'm
the yeah.
in looking for getting some new ones actually as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is like you're getting new ones to get chat excited to use the emotes that support the yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Yeah.
so I say let's move into the next question. Also, Nerve, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? All right, so do you hype yourself up before stream? Like, do you have a process of things that you do before you come in and then you start hyping yourself up, or do you just sit down and be like, boom, we're good?
I always get my beverages of the day. I make it like a part of my stream. But I don't have a space in which I can just sit down and start,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I stream from my own, like, hi, we're in my room, right? So I make the bed, I turn on my twinkle lights, I have like a little like hello surprise ring light to like make it different in here. I have my other lights over here, and between doing that and getting my beverages, it kind of gives me like a moment to set. And I also do a starting soon screen of 5 minutes. And during that 5 minutes, like that's what I'm doing. And it's just like mental prep to just like, all right, everything's working. We're here. We're doing it. Here we go. You know.
All right, so you heard the intro music today while I was at my starting stream
I
screen.
did.
So the
I
thing
did.
my mic is muted for that, but I'm over here.
Yes.
I'm over here singing my heart out when that's going on.
That's a
So
bot, by the way. Love that.
thank you. I do have a song that I wrote myself that I am working on getting produced and actually recorded. It's in the making.
Love that.
But yeah,
I usually play free lo-fi music, which doesn't completely go with my brand. So I have commissioned music to have my voice in it, not singing, but like background lo-fi music,
yeah.
including me and my shenanigans. And hopefully that comes in time for the subathon. But like, I think it's important to like set the tone of the stream.
I agree. But
Yeah.
yeah, so like my starting soon screen, that's what I'm over here doing. I'm doing like a little mini workout. I'm singing the song, getting hyped up. It's
Oh,
a
you
good
just
time.
go.
Oh
You just
yeah.
get hyped. See, I don't know. I think my friends in chat would probably call BS, but I like to think that I'm kind of like calm chaos.
Well,
I just kind of like try to get into the space where like I'm excited, but I'm like, "Hi. How's it going? Hello."
oh no, my heart's beating a million miles a minute when I hit
Oh, I
one
love that.
right before I hit the switching screen to where I'm on my just chatting. Oh yeah, that heart's just pounding. It gets me nice and hyped up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean
wear a heart
everybody
monitor
has.
because I already have that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Nice, cool. Everybody has different ways of hyping themselves up. And surprisingly, so I think this is my 7th interview. I believe this is number 7. I
Number
have,
7.
yeah, I believe this
Lucky
is number
7.
7.
Excited.
I think outside of myself, there's only been one other person who's had an actual like hype up routine other than just
Okay.
like you said, just setting stuff up. So I thought that was more of a common thing. That's actually why I added that
Oh.
question because I'm like, it's always interesting to find out other people's methods of getting hyped up and stuff. So it's interesting to
Yeah.
find out that a lot of people don't really have that moment where it's like I'm doing this or I'm doing this to get hyped up. So it's
Sure.
a fun
Yeah.
time.
I mean, on we talked about mental struggle earlier.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm having a kind of off day and I want to make sure that like I am being not in like a negative place for chat, I'll just be like, woo, and then you do the whole thing and like get into it and hype up. But for the most part, it's very just like, yeah. She is controlled chaos. Thank you, Mickey.
I believe, I'm almost positive, Miggy said earlier that you do a really good Toad impression. Is that true?
Of course you did. So Mickey is actually the reason that happened. I was playing Mario Party with Miggy, and Toad is the announcer for all of
Mm-hmm.
those various things. And I am an aspiring voice actor who has not had an audition. That's basically where I'm at with that. And it's like, hello. It's like, oh, it's Mario, and we're doing a party, and we're having a great time. It's just, and
I
I
love
have
it.
even like I have a little Toad gif that like dances on the side of my screen and everything when I do it, so that way you can hear the true essence of Toad.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
Have
but
you
there
have
you
you
go.
ever considered getting a soundbite of you doing the hello and that be your introduction whenever somebody just follows you? That would be amazing. Not gonna lie.
It is actually my redeem for I have a Toad Says redeem in which somebody can use their channel points and write in sentence and Toad says that the Riddler 1370 is the best interviewer ever. Right. So and then
Well,
I
I
just do that.
appreciate the compliment. I'm gonna roll with that. That is really interesting. That's cool. A cool thing
Yeah.
to have as an addition to your stream. I tried
Thank
doing
you.
the
Yeah.
whole voice acting thing on TikTok one time, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought I did a phenomenal job, and I have no idea if I actually did. But in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm a villain and a hero in the next upcoming anime.
You're like, I got this.
Yeah,
It's
it's
got it
like,
on
listen, you
lock.
just give me the script, I'll read every character for you. Don't worry about
Yeah, yeah.
it.
My favorite games to play are honestly ones that don't have voice acting, so that way I can give voice acting for all of the characters because I think it not only like gets me super invested, but from an auditory standpoint, because how many people like lurk and just have it on.
Yeah.
So it almost ends up like turning into just like an audible story kind of a thing when I do
Hmm.
that. And I've always said if you're gonna read a story, everybody needs their own voice, right?
I
So,
agree.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
so
that's definitely my favorite thing to do when I stream.
so one of the things I've been doing recently on my channel, it's typically on Saturdays, I do a Soul Link Nuzlocke with my rival in the community, Mr. Cansey West. And we started doing this, and I told him before we started, I was like, bro, we gotta voice people. Yeah, all the main characters, we gotta give them voices.
Yeah,
And we're doing it on Pokemon Sword and Shield. There are
love it.
a lot of female characters in there. And I can't
Yes.
tell you how many times that like I
So
have
excited. Yeah.
I have lurkers in
Mhm.
there, and either me or Kainsey will do a female voice, and they're like, then they just pop up out of the woods. It's like, what the fuck was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
It's just
They're like,
like,
"Well, I was doing my dishes. What just happened?"
it's like I swear I was watching Riddler, and now I hear a
Yeah.
halfway butch female. What's going on here? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's okay. So I
I
like
love it.
the voice acting, especially if you're playing a game with no voices. That really does come in handy in
Right.
one,
Right.
not
And
only
then
keeping people but entertaining new people. You're like, oh, that's really an interesting
right.
thing that you do.
And nobody can do your voice, right? Like
Yes.
every voice is absolutely iconic. My voice is extra iconic because I had the vid in late 2020
Hmm.
and my vocal cords got actually damaged when that happened. But because of that, now I can do the Ash Ketchup voice, Pikachu, and it's
That's actually
one of
pretty
those
good.
things that I just Thank you. And so I'm like, it's a gift. I'll just take it. Thank you so much, universe. So, but I'm trying to like these things happen and I'm going to just make lemonade out of lemons, basically, right? Like instead of, being like, well, maybe I shouldn't voice act because I'm raspy. It's like, well, no, use the rasp
Yeah.
to my advantage,
Chat said shout out Ash Ketchum.
Shout out Ass Ketchup, let's go.
All right. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this. All right, so let's move on to the next question. What do you find to be the hardest part about being a streamer? And I'm going to add an extra one to that. Hardest part about being a cosplayer as well.
Ooh. There's an answer that's the same for both, and then there's completely different answers. So I'll start with the thing that's the same for both. It's managing the content creation to highlight the current thing, right? So, for example, for me, like, I'm trying to get on that TikTok. I'm trying to do it. It's so hard. I do it for companies, but I can't do it for myself, especially when it comes to like cosplay and stuff. And then if I'm streaming, like, I have all these clips, but I keep forgetting about like TikTok to like do it. You know what I mean? So it's the mental game of like trying for me to balance the two and also incorporate the two in a way that makes sense. As a streamer just in general, I think it's hard to not get overwhelmed with like looking at numbers, right?
Yes.
Like that red live number is just always there and it's just hanging out. And I feel like if you look at it too much, it can change the course of your stream. Because I've had streamers that like I was the only person watching and they left because they're like, oh, there's only one person watching me, I'm out. And I'm like, well, I was there, so that sucks. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I think if it's one person or 1,000 people, you should have the same amount of energy. You know what I mean?
I fully agree with that statement.
Yeah. And then for cosplay, there's a few different things that's really, really hard. I have lucky enough that I found my own brand and I don't feel like I have to like try to fit in with what's popular as much anymore because people know that I come up with my own concepts of a character that's going to flatter me but not like over sexualize or anything because that seems to be the way that most people get the clicks, you know what I mean, is just like showing cleavage or doing stunts or any of that kind of stuff, which like pop off if you can do that, like way to go for you. But for me it's I want to be as authentic to myself as possible when I'm doing that stuff. And also like I've had creeperonis like pop in on me and that's not fun. I don't like it. So I'm just like, eh. And that's not even that's still not showing nothing. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna thanks so much and goodbye. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So which one do you find to be harder to stay motivated doing? Would it be streaming or would it be cosplaying?
Harder to stay motivated. I think it's harder to stay motivated for cosplay because that tends to come out of my own pocket. It's a lot of time that I invest into it for something that people may or may not even enjoy, or I may only wear once or twice, right? And it's having the wherewithal to know that. The reason I say not Twitch is because Twitch, I have that community that expects me to be there. So if they're expecting me to be there, then I'm just like, I gotta do it. I'm gonna go instead of just like, bye, peace. You know what I mean? So whereas with cosplay, I'm like, oh, it's the foam's over there. I can get it whenever. You know what I mean? I have materials I've been sitting on for a long time. So, it's I would easily say that, it's a lot easier to kind of push cosplay out of the way, especially when, there's live people afoot.
Yeah. Okay. That's very understandable.
Yeah.
All right. 2 seconds. Nerve, thank you for the lurk. I appreciate that. Crow Nest, welcome to the Great Heathen Army. Welcome in. Pokey Trainer, thank you for the host. Also, welcome in. Joby asks, I do normally keep questions to the end of stream, but this pertains to exactly what we're talking right now. He says, for cosplay streams, do you create the costume on stream, or do you role play a character from what you're playing?
Ooh, so I haven't really done a costume creation on stream yet. That is a stretch goal of mine that I have for my subathon, to get another camera so I can have this and my hands working on a thing, so that way you can like watch the magic happen, right? And do behind the scenes, and I'm very excited about making that content, but I have not made that content yet. But for the most part, I put together a costume, and then I'll try to stay in character for like as much as I can, but I'm myself when I'm wearing the cosplay, essentially. One of my favorites is, I've been playing a game called Little Witch in the Woods. I knew nothing about it. All I knew was that the witch main character was really, really cute, and I was just like, this has not been cosplayed. If it has, I haven't seen it. I'm just gonna throw something together and do it. And it ended up being one that I could voice act. So I was just like, awesome.
Even better.
So it's yeah. So I ended up, she's kind of like almost ginger. She's like a light ginger. So I was like, I made her a little bit Scottish, and I had my old witch hat, my whole thing, and and it ended up being like perfect. So it's just. So that's what you can expect from me. Long story short, is I love diving in, but as far as watching me do it, coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next one. We talked about what's the hardest thing about being a content creator and cosplayer. What would you say is the easiest on both ends?
Ooh, the easiest. The easiest thing about being a content creator. That's a really good question, because content creation is just kind of difficult in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm fortunate enough that the ideas come to me very, very easily, come to me very swiftly, as long as it's for my own content. When it comes to making content for other people, I need a lot of information before I can do that. But when it comes to making content for myself, I tend to get pretty much like a whole idea, picture, that kind of thing in my head pretty quickly. So for me, it's like, oh, okay, I enjoy these nostalgic games. There's a humble bundle with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
If I cosplayed those characters while I played it, that would be fun, and then you just move on from there. So I'm very fortunate to kind of get the wheels turning pretty quick when it comes to my own stuff.
I think doing the ideas it's a really good answer, because I have, in my personal opinion, I have some really amazing ideas about my stream. Have absolutely no talent to be able to make them happen.
Really?
No lie.
Oh,
Like, I'll be
man.
sitting there, I'll be at work, and I'll be talking with my buddies at work. I'll be like, hey man, what do you think if I did this on stream? And they'll be like, oh bro, that'd be awesome. And then I get home, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look and see how I do this. And I'm like,
Right.
nah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And then I'll move that. Like, I got a list of ideas that
Yeah.
just push it to the side.
My original idea for my subathon was to get a whole bunch of nostalgic 90s board games and have like a board game night with guests and everything. But I'm not able to do that in my current situation, right?
Yeah.
So just like, I'm like, pin it, put it on the side for later, because I like that idea. But at the same time, it's just like, what's similar to that I can bring to the table? You know what I mean? So for that.
Okay. So what would you think is the easiest part about being a cosplayer then?
The easiest part about being a cosplayer, posting the picture.
Solid
That's
point.
about it.
Solid point. I like it.
Posting the picture. I mean, I've been fortunate enough that I've gotten to have a few photographers know my name. I don't really go to like cosplay photo shoots. That's not something I'm really familiar with. I've done it once or twice, and that's about it. But when I go to a con, I know people. I've been on the circuit for 10 years. So I'm like, hey. And they're like, yeah, quick shots. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then we just, so I end up hopefully with photos. Most people don't send them, but I hopefully end up with photos. They send them to me and they're already edited. So I'm just like,
appreciate the hard work done for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, they use it for their portfolio. I use it for mine, and then because when you're at a con, like anything can happen and go wrong, and
Yeah,
it has. I've had my shoes collapse while I was walking in them. So like, who knows? You know what I mean? So
I bet
yeah.
that was an interesting day.
Hmm.
All right, so Pokey Trainer's asking about the cosplay stuff. He says, "What
Yes.
areas are your favorite to cosplay?" And his example would
Ooh.
be, "Would you rather do a Laura Croft or a Sailor Moon?" Fun fact: she already did Sailor Moon.
Ooh.
She said that
I
earlier.
did do a Sailor Moon. I did. I actually was really I was considering both those characters. Um, so it's really interesting that you say that because if you asked me about 5 years ago, uh, ironically, when I cosplayed Sailor Moon, I probably would have said Laura Croft because she's a little bit more badass. She has more props and stuff, but I would find a way to do it different. So I would probably do like the polygonal version or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I ended up it depends on where I want to go with making an armor. I want to make something like soft and pretty for something else. So that way I can have like a wider range of kind of like when you pick your favorite shirt for the day, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like, do I want to wear this one or this one? And it's just like, oh, options, you know what I mean? Um so yeah, it's a really bad answer, but it basically just depends on my mood.
no,
It
I
depends on my
mean,
mood. It depends on the props, and it depends on how well the character is known, as well as the actual silhouette of what that would look like, and if I can interpret it differently than other
okay.
people would. Yeah.
So, boss dude, I'm gonna ask the question, but I think I already know the answer to this. So, give me a second
Sure.
to answer it. I think I got this one. He says, "Do cosplays cost a good amount of money?" And I think the proper answer
Yes.
would be depends on how much time you put into it and the materials you buy for it, because the overall quality depends on how much money you spend on it. That be
He
correct?
has been listening. Yes, that's very true. At the same time, in that respect, I know plenty of people who are just like, I'm going to do it. And they spend so much money on it, but they don't know what they're doing. So they end up buying these really expensive materials. And then the cosplay turns out like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've been able to, like, for example, my Monster Hunter armor that I ended up winning like a substantial cash prize for cost me $200 to make.
That's a
But
decent
at the,
little chunk right there.
right, it's a decent chunk, but it's a full suit of armor with a giant prop, with lights, with like fog machine. So you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like the whole, it's being able to use what you can get in the best way possible. And the only way that you can do that is by practice and learning and doing your craft basically. Or
I
you could
agree.
just buy a cheaper cosplay and sometimes they look great. I have a Dark Phoenix one that I got for X-Men and bodysuit bodysuit showed up. I slapped some soles on it and it looked great and it cost me $30. And I was like, okay, so
Boom.
you gotta so yeah, it doesn't have to amount to money. It just has to amount to like research and time, I think, at the end of the
Okay,
day. Yeah.
that's a good good answer. Good answer. I like it.
Good answer. Good answer.
I thought I was close to it. And
Yeah,
I've done
it
some
definitely is
dabbling and
that way
stuff.
for most people. Yeah, it's definitely that for most people, for sure. Money usually shows, right?
Yeah,
Especially when it comes to fashion and that kind of thing. But, not necessarily. Some people are able to cosplay on a budget, and that's really important, especially right now.
hmm.
So, yeah.
So this one is more of a personal life question, but we can add the stream quality stuff to it as well. How do you
Sure.
stay motivated for work?
Mm. Um, Well, I think you and I kind of have that in common that it tends to be a passion project, right? So I really want to work on it. I really do want to do it at the end of the day. And it's just reminding myself about that passion, right? Um so yeah, I mean to stay motivated, if I'm losing my motivation, I'll like watch other streamers
Hmm.
or I'll look at other cosplayers and I'll just like see what they're doing so I can be like, oh, okay, so that's popular, that's cool, oh, that's a neat idea, oh, I haven't seen that before. And then it kind of just like and like gets me like, okay, now I can work, you know what I mean?
Nice little
So
chain reaction thing.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a good way to look at it, especially being able to be able to pull motivation from watching other people do stuff, or
Yeah.
seeing somebody else's like cosplay and be like, that's really fucking awesome. I want to be able to try and do something like that.
Right.
I think that's
Right. Yeah.
a big factor that a lot of people don't take into account is the
Hmm.
fact that you never know when you're going to get inspiration off somebody. So
True. I think a lot of people tend to, when they're feeling kind of overwhelmed, they don't normally look outwards for inspiration because it's easy to get intimidated
yeah,
versus inspired, right? Um, but I tend to look at everything with kind of like an artistic eye. I'm just kind of wired that way a little bit. So, if I see something I like, I say it out loud. So there you go.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I it is hard to, I guess, broaden your horizons by looking out for motivation, because a lot of people, once they hit that brick wall, so to speak,
Hmm.
it's one of those like they put the blinders on and it's like, I'm focused right here, when literally all you gotta
Right.
do is take it off and then boom, all these ideas could flow to you. So I think that
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
but that is also a lot easier said than done.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you
I
can
mean,
say take the blinders off, everything's good, but then when you
hmm
actually have to, it's just like, but
hmm
I know for me specifically, I'll be like, but I know if
hmm
I just take one more step, just one more step, I'm
hmm
right here. I got something going on. So
hmm
I can
Yep.
definitely say
I
from experience with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had it both in cosplay and in content creation where like I'm working on something and it just doesn't look right. There's something about it and I'm just like, what? What is it? I'll figure it out. I got it. It's just I'll play with it some more. It's fine. And then you usually end up making it worse, right? Because you're trying to like adjust
You're trying to force
everything
it.
and whatever. So I've just learned it's like I'm gonna step back. I have artist eye right now. It's too much. I'm just going to step away. And you just kind of clear your eyes, clear your brain, and then you come back
Yeah.
later. Whether that's 15 minutes, an hour, a day, you just give yourself time to come back.
Don't force the content. It will
Yeah,
happen
don't
eventually.
force it.
It will
People will
happen.
know. That's what
Yes.
I've learned. People will absolutely figure out if you're pushing yourself too much. That's why I think people like when somebody says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've been gone, I had burnout." It's like, yeah, you see their content up to that point, you're like they weren't happy. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I try to figure that out before I even reach that point
Do you,
as much as I can.
speaking of burnout and trying to push yourself to anything,
Mhm.
as a streamer or as a cosplayer, do you ever feel the need that you, or not need, peer pressured into trying to force yourself into playing the more popular games or doing one of the more popular cosplays? Do you ever feel a
Sure.
type of peer
Yeah.
pressure for
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, I've kind of branded myself in this nostalgic golden age of like games, right?
Hmm.
And when it comes to like things are still happening, new things are popping up all the time, and like those things are still absolutely valid and amazing. Like I've started playing Genshin on my stream. I'm awful at it. I'm terrible at it, right? But at the same time, it's like I wouldn't have considered that unless people had brought it to my attention. And I can find something to enjoy in that. That being said, I've had more than enough people be like, oh my God, you should cosplay from Spy Family. And I'm like, I love the show. Not going to do it. Everyone's doing it. I want to be my own person and I can't make that different than what it is. You know what I mean? So I just kind of have this like, I like what I like and I do that.
I like
Yeah.
that. So, in the sense of, you said that you don't want to do somebody from like Spy Families or something because everybody's doing that.
Mhm.
Do you ever
Right.
think, I don't want to say think, or do you, I guess that's probably the best way to word
I
it.
mean, sure.
Do you ever think that it is a better idea, like viewership wise? So, like, let's take Twitch out of account.
Oh,
Let's talk for like TikTok.
yes.
senses.
Sure.
Do you ever think
if I
like,
was
man,
doing,
I could
if
just
I
do
was, yeah,
this?
if I was doing Spy Family or Genshin Impact cosplays now, I'd be getting all kinds of clicks, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that being said, my most popular thing that I have is a Sonic one as me as Tails. Tails miles per hour. So, I think I could hunt the clicks by trying to be relevant, but I did that in the past. I did that for like a couple years when I just like wasn't sure where I was going on my like
Mm-hmm.
cosplay journey, and I ended up not being happy about it. I was just like I was always it would fall out of fashion, or I would lose interest, or just everyone's doing it so nobody cares about your take on it. And I found being more authentic to myself and what I like that I can share with other people is just always more rewarding. Yeah, I'm not going to get as many clicks, but the clicks that I do get, people seem to care more.
I like that. Not
Yeah.
because that truly shows that you're not chasing numbers, and I
Yes.
really do
Yeah.
like that because like you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, I think chasing after numbers is really it will put an effect on your
Yeah.
stream, your quality of everything.
Hmm.
So like I don't know if a few of my mods in here, they will tell you I used to have a view account pulled up just to look at everything,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I would look up and I'm like, oh yeah, I got like 10 people in here, cool. And then like
Hmm.
10, 15 minutes later, I'm down to like 3 or 4, and then you
Yeah.
visually see the energy come down and not being as happy.
Hmm.
And
That or you get a big raid, everybody says hi, and then they just drop out, and you're like, okay,
damn,
well, it was cool. Anyway.
yeah, it's like
And
damn,
then you just like you get so excited, and then it just goes anyway. And I've seen that happen so much. I've seen that happen so many times. And it's who wants to see someone bummed? No one,
yeah.
right? So,
So I used to keep
yeah.
or I wouldn't keep my viewer count. So when I was on Streamlabs OBS, I don't know
Hmm.
if you ever use that. There's an option on top where you can just
That is what I use.
you
So
can
I
well
sure
you
do.
can you can click on it
Yeah.
and see what your numbers are. So I used
Hmm.
to just randomly through my stream, I'm like, well, ain't nobody said nothing in a minute. I click on it and be like, all right, well that's why
That's
ain't nobody said
dangerous.
nothing, and it would bring me down. So I swapped
Yeah.
over to OBS. There's not a way to put a view counter on my OBS. So
Oh, well,
and
that's nice. Yeah.
and my mods have told me and other friends, I was like, you can
Hmm.
tell the level of energy you have never
Yes.
changes anymore because you don't
Yeah.
know. And I feel like
Yeah.
not chasing numbers is a very important thing when it comes into
Yes.
account with stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Because trying to trace the click, or trying to hunt the click, right? Trying
Hmm.
to you know have that energy for whatever. It just ultimately just sucks all the creativity and the joy out of anything
Hmm.
related to content, I have found.
I
Yeah.
find
It
that will burn you out a lot quicker too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Uh
nobody wants to
I
see a
heard it.
streamer burn out.
Yeah, yeah. I actually heard a great quote from a Markiplier interview recently that said the reason burnout happens is because you're constantly pulling from your cup of life, right? Like your daily experiences, your experiences in the past, funny stories, all of that stuff. But if you're constantly doing it and you're trying to be relevant and you're like not taking the time for yourself to refill your cup's going to get empty, right? So
I like that quote. I've
there's
not
nothing
heard
to
that
pull
one before.
anymore. Yeah, yeah. It was something that he said in a recent interview that I was just like, yeah, yeah, that's right.
It's like that makes so
you
much
know,
sense.
I'm like, yes, is my cup empty? Where am I? Am I half full? Like, and you start to.
So, speaking of cup quotes and whatnot, I heard one recently. I think maybe in the past 2 or 3 days. A dude sat down and it said, "When you know that you're making it in life," and I was like, "Okay, well, this is interesting." The dude put a cup
Mhm.
on the table. It was half full of water, and there's like, "You see that it's half full or half empty?" He said, I see that full. It's half full of water, half full of air. It's full of it's ready to go. Let's go. And I was like,
Let's go.
that mentality right there is just
Yes.
so like I don't know why it resonated with me so much, but I was like, that
I
makes
love
so
that.
much sense because
Yes.
you're
It's
not
just
looking at it
full.
from a positive or a negative point. You're looking at it for exactly what it is. It's full.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
you can transition that quote into other life aspects. Like, are you burnt out? Like, no, not really.
Yeah.
It's just I have a bunch of things going on right now. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like you can move that quote and just kind of move it around into different aspects, and it made so much sense.
Yeah.
It's crazy the little quotes like that that'll just damn, that hits so hard.
They hit so hard. So my mother is a florist. She has a family-owned business that she's had for over 40 years. And so I do delivery for her on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a delivery to a local library. And there was a lady there who was a wayward traveler, you know. She clearly probably is living outside. I'll say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And but she seemed very, very nice. And she saw that I had the flowers and she's just like, "Oh, are those flowers for me?" And I was just like, "It's a delivery." And she's like, "Well, all the flowers in the world are mine already, so." And all of the seashells on the beach are also mine. And I was like,
positive
"Oh."
outlook right there is phenomenal.
I was like, "Okay, like, yeah. Like, the world is mine. I just share it with everyone else. Sure. Why not?" And then it was so funny because she walked up to the lady. She's like, "I would like to use a computer." And I was like, "The computers are not yours, clearly, because you're asking." But yeah, anyway, I thought it was funny.
That is a phenomenal quote. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like that. It's like again, it's those little quotes like that that will change your outlook on stuff, and it's really I find more appreciation out of a hard hitting quote like that because it's one of those like I can deal with that for the rest of my life.
Right? Yeah.
So let's move on. This one's going to be a heavy hitting question.
Heavy hitter. I'm ready.
Heavy hitter. What would you say is your greatest achievement to date as a content creator?
Ooh, as a content creator, making the real life friends that I have from Twitch. That was a really, really fast answer. But yeah, I feel that in my heart and soul. Basically, when I started Twitch, I almost gave up so many times, and I have such a supportive community of people that have just found me, and they're always there for me. And we're friends to the point where I got invited on a road trip where I got to go to a wedding of two of them getting married. Where I have people excited to collab with me or play games with me or interview me or any of those things. So it's there was a point in my life where I just felt like, oh, well, I must not be a very interesting person because other than cosplay, I'm just kind of home, and I have a couple friends, but that's it. But being part of Twitch and streaming and the community opened that up so much more. And I'm just like, oh, there's a whole bunch of really cool people that I can talk to like anytime because they all live in different places.
I agree.
So, yeah.
So,
I would say.
I'm going to say something to what you said about giving up. So I fought myself, I can't tell you, several times. And one of my moderators, if he's still in here and lurking, Mr. Johnny Boombots, he was in here talking earlier. He was actually the reason I have not quit. So there's a few times where it's just in my head. Mentally, I was going through a lot of stuff in my personal life. And then I would stream and I wouldn't really do as much as... That was back when I was on Streamlabs and I would look at my numbers and I'd see how bad they were in my head. And then it'd be like, just a whole bunch of things would just bounce on top of everything. And I'm like, bro, I'm done. Fuck this. I quit. I want to go back to being just a regular person. And like, I would have these conversations with Johnny and a couple other people in the community. And they'd be like, don't quit, man. It's like, you're having a rough patch right now. You got things going on in life. Just keep pushing. And I would have never met half of the people I've met to date if I would have gave up. It's like I would have never met you, and I'm really happy that I met you. You're a very interesting person. You're an amazing streamer.
Thank you.
And it's just one of those like having not necessarily a community of people, because at that time I really didn't have a community. I was just in everybody
Yeah.
else's. Having somebody believe in you enough to tell you like, "Hey, don't quit or don't give up." It makes
Honestly,
so much of a difference.
Yeah. I was in a really dark spot semi recently. You'd never know it watch my streams because, you know, I'm talking to my friends. But, you know, when you're going through stuff like that, like I ended up talking to a couple different people. Like I'm thinking about just taking a break. Like I'm not really sure. I love streaming and I always get excited about it, but this is tough, you know. And my friend was like, I look forward to your streams and
Yeah.
they make my day. And I'm going through a rough spot too. So if you need anything, I'm here. And so, like, since then, I've made a safe place spot in my Discord channel. Because I went to that in other people's channels. And I was just like, that was like amazing, right? It's like, it's people that you can just like, bleh, and they'll just be like, we're here for you. Like, don't worry about it. Or like, here's what I think about the situation. And just like, you do you, you know,
So I always tell everybody my DMs are open on every platform. If anything is ever to that point where like you need to break down and talk, I'm a great listener. I'll listen to anybody. I'll let you vent about anything and anybody. If you're venting about me, go for it. I'm not gonna snap on nobody, because I know how important it is to let those things out, because if you let them bottle up, and it will affect you in multiple ways.
Buddy.
So I don't have a safe place in my Discord. I have contemplated adding that. I just haven't.
Yeah.
Just because I don't
My
know
Discord is
exactly
still
how.
very My Discord is still very new as far as like the amount of people in it and how often we all kind of chat in there. So I haven't had any like incidents or anything, but I have had a few people who you know, who post in there, and you know, I always tell them like you're more than welcome to DM me personally and I'll tell you what I think, but I'm not a professional. But, you know, like, but yeah, like I want you to be comfortable, you know.
Yeah. So speaking on that, I've told this story a few times during these interviews, and I'm in quite a few Discords. A couple of the bigger ones I'm in, they do have the safe places and stuff like that. One dude had messaged in there, and his message was that he was done with everything. He was about to end it. I spent the next I literally spent the next 4 hours of my life from that point talking to him through Discord. I was on the phone with him, and now we're actually really good friends. He doesn't stream anymore. I convinced him to back off that ledge, and he called the proper people to get him the proper help he needed.
Well, thank goodness you were there for him.
I'm very glad I was able to do that, because it's little things like having somebody, like you said, like in a safe place, where somebody will be like, message you and be like, listen, I don't know what you're doing. I know you don't know me, but I'm here for you. And I feel like that's a very, very important thing. And that's one of the reasons I tell everybody my DMs are always open, no matter what. So like, I know you are new to the Discord. Something I do in my Discord, I try to post a motivational message every morning whenever I wake up, or whenever.
That's right. You were telling me about that, and I was like, "That's amazing."
I try to. Some days it doesn't be as like hard hitting, like let's go. But I always try to wake up on a very positive note. And then something else I do, I comment, or I message everybody who messages back in my Discord. So like, if I wake up in the morning, I have 4 people that's already said good morning. I respond to all of them. Hey, good morning. How are you? Good morning. I hope you're having a good day. And then I post my message, because I want everybody who comes to my stream or to my Discord or to any of my communities, I want them to feel like family. That's ultimate goal. Like I know I said it earlier, I'm not a family friendly person, but I actually am. Just not in the sense of how I talk. And thank you, Supernova. That is a really nice compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I got off the rails. I don't remember exactly the point I was trying to make right there. But
no
boom,
worries.
that works.
No worries.
Right. So, next question. How do you promote your content? And this one's going to be, we can do streaming and cosplay. So what is the importance of promoting? Because you do your social media.
Yes. So I mostly promote on Instagram. That's where I do 95% of all of my promotional stuff. I've learned to try to make every single thing that I'm doing seem like an event. And then when I have an event, I just like not spam post it, but I want to make sure that people know about it as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, for my subathon on August 14th, I have a daily post planned for every single one of those. And for all of them, I have my magical trash panda in a different spot in a different thing. You know what I mean? It's like slight subtle variation for the whole thing. But it's trying to make it as exciting and alluring, but like real as possible. Does that
Okay.
make sense? I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's just yeah. So
So you do a majority of promoting on Instagram. What
yes.
what level of effect do you think Instagram has? Because I promote
Yeah.
some of my stuff on Instagram. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm terrible when it comes to actually promoting my events, like my giveaways or my special things I have coming up, because
Yeah.
I just like I'll have the ideas in my head and then I'm a big procrastinator, so I always forget about it until
Yeah.
like the day before. I'm like, shit, I don't have enough time to do this.
Yeah.
So do you think
Instagram
promoting
it,
there versus like Twitter or in Discords or something is more effective?
so Twitter I'm still pretty new to. So I don't have a huge following on Twitter, but I have tried to do like reach out into Twitter a little bit more, and it doesn't bring in a whole bunch of people, but it brings in a few. As far as my Instagram account, I use the same account for both my cosplay and my streaming. So I already have like 9 years of established channel, which is
Okay.
why I rely on Instagram so heavily. That being said, I have about the same amount on Instagram as I do on TikTok right now because I got really lucky and one went viral. So that being said, it's like I'm trying to navigate the new waters, but I'm kind of stuck with like what I'm used to,
That makes sense.
essentially. It helps because I've been using it forever. But, does it have like as good of a pull, if better than other things? I don't know because I'm not good at it. So, yeah.
The the main reason I asked there is because, like I said, I do promote stuff on Instagram and
Mhm.
whatnot. So I actually had a video on Instagram go viral.
Okay.
I think at the moment it's like 430,000 views, and it really
Beautiful.
didn't, other than views and likes, it didn't bring anything else. That's the only reason
Right.
I asked about if you think
Yeah.
if it works better on it. But again, like you said, you have 9 years of
Mhm.
promoting yourself on that platform. So
Right.
that, I guess that's a
Yeah.
double-edged
Yeah.
question, double-edged sword.
For yeah, I've found that it just comes down to the consistency of posts, the tags and the like content of those posts, like is it a specific game, is it a specific event or that kind of thing that will also bring in people. And then honestly, if it's not like visually appealing in some way, like if it's just text, nobody reads it anymore. If it's just a picture, people don't tend to read it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's usually like bright, vibrant, colorful, moving, like any of those things tend to be
Okay.
like where it's at for any of that stuff. So,
I
in my
agree with that.
experience, that
So
doesn't mean that's for everybody.
moving with that as well, I have
Sure.
a do you ever look at the analytics for the best times to post on like Instagram, or what the best hashtags and stuff to for the time to
Yeah.
use, and do you ever utilize those?
I have checked it a few times. I tend not to do that. I actually post at like the worst times possible in general. Like I tend to just post it for the most part when I get it done because I used to try to plan my day around that analytical like this is the most optimal time because people are having lunch right now and then they're going to see it. But I found that it took me out of experiencing my day in general. And I mean there's apps and stuff that can post it for you during
Yeah,
those things, but that enough in itself is already like an extra step and that kind of thing, which, it's a little more work.
I
But
agree with that.
yeah, but yeah, I'm lazy. That's basically what it comes down to. I just post it when I post it and I just hope for the best. So,
So personally, I've never looked into the best hashtags or the best
Yeah.
analytically the best time to post.
Mhm.
Again, because like you said, I'm lazy. I
Yeah.
post stuff when I post it. I do try to keep myself on some type of a schedule when it comes to posting, but I also
Yes.
am
Yeah.
very finicky with it because like I'll get burnt
Mhm.
out with posting because I don't know about you.
Yes.
For me, I post on several different platforms and
Yeah.
it's one of those like, all right, I don't want to do this every day,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like my ultimate goal is to do this full time and be a full time content
Right.
creator. So like I have to
Right.
have it set in my head, be like, boom, I have to do this. It's just one of
Mhm.
those. I think it leads to being burnt out a lot quicker. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that because I mean, I also do social media not only for myself but as my sub job, right?
mm-hmm,
So like because I'm doing that, I'm doing double the social media because not only am I promoting myself and my own things, but I also do it for another company that expects me to do it and have it whatever. Then they give me full creative freedom, which is great, but at the same time it's like I have to get that done. I don't have to post my stuff.
yeah,
And that's really hard to be like, but I should. It's like,
I 100% agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
uh, Supernova, you are completely correct when you said Twitter is weird. 100%
Twitter
agree
is
with
weird.
you. I've
Yeah.
had my Twitter since like 2012 or 2011,
Yeah.
and I just started utilizing it this past year, and I still have no clue what I'm doing on there. Also, Lucky
Yeah.
Bards, welcome to the stream.
I
All
love
right,
that
so
name, Lucky Bard.
oh
I
yeah,
like that.
oh dude's phenomenal. He has the snap cam filter of a cat on his head the entire stream. It's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. I met him through TikTok. He's a great guy. Yeah,
Hot.
I actually have quite I don't want to say quite a few. I have like 4 or 5 people that I've met through TikTok, and
Yeah.
something I'll touch on it. It's really hard. We talked about the Instagram thing a second ago. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons I asked about that is the bring over rate from Instagram to your Twitch is because
Right.
I find it to be incredibly difficult to pull
Yes.
just one person from TikTok or Instagram. And the few people I have been able to pull over from them seeing my
Mm-hmm.
content into my Twitch are phenomenal people. Lucky Bart is one of
Yeah.
those. I don't think he's here tonight, Mr. Tyler Harris. He's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really great guy. Poetic Rod, he was in the chat earlier. Yeah, I
Yeah.
met all of these people through TikTok, and they are fucking amazing people. And I'm so glad
Yeah.
I'm glad that I have the confidence to post on there like I do because they're all.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never met them if it wasn't because I wanted to post on TikTok.
Right.
So that was another reason I
Yeah.
wanted to bring up the bring over rate. Do you ever have a bring over rate from there?
Um, as far as bring over rate, I think I've kind of like capped where I'm currently at least on Instagram. Um, usually I'll end up bringing in a few more people when it's a cosplay Twitch both thing related post.
Okay.
Then I tend to bring in more people. But if it's just like one or the other, it pretty much doesn't do a whole lot. Um, unless it's like a community night and then people get excited. But I met one of my Twitch friends on there because they like, not that I was sliding into your DMs, but like, did you need another person for tonight's stream? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, hi. So yeah, I'm still figuring all that out. I mean, who can figure it out, right? Because it's so difficult to like
Yes, it is
try to navigate all that
it's a
stuff.
task and a half to be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. But I have found that for like every 100,000, if you get 10, that's what the rate usually is.
Yeah. So I had a
So,
friend tell me, I think it was Mr. M. Westby. He told me that your average. So a lot of people are like, they'll look at their average numbers and be like, oh well, I'm not doing well. I think he
mhm.
said the average is 10% of whatever your followers are,
Yep.
and said
Oh, okay.
that should be your average
Yep.
viewership. So like right now
Yep.
I don't know exactly how many I'm at. Over
Oh,
700 at the moment, and they say that that should be your average, 10% of that. So like I think I'm 700 ish. So my average, if I average 7 people, I'm on track
yeah.
for what the don't know the exact word to use. I literally just had a stroke and forgot.
For the 10%, the lucky
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
So an Instagram of 9 years, by the way. So not really that impressive, but I've been working on it. So I have 1,500 followers on Instagram.
Respectable.
And my average is about 15 people on my streams. So, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I
They
found
say
that the best way to bring in people is to just be on Twitch and like go to other people's streams and talk and introduce yourself and get to know other streamers.
make some type of a genuine connection with somebody. That's what I try to do.
Yes, genuine connection.
Yeah. So
let me clarify. Not just like go be like, "Hi, follow my stream." That's, oh my god, please don't do that. But like, yeah,
super annoying.
But like, find the people that like you jive with, and then get to know them, get to know their community, hang out a little bit more, and then like you'll find friends who want to support you. But you have to be willing to make those connections without seeking anything out of it. Because people can smell that a mile away if you're going in to like get viewers.
I agree. So like,
yeah.
Lucky Bar just said something. He said networking, which is extremely important. He said most people don't exactly know what networking means. So my definition of networking might be different from yours. Mine is going to somebody else's stream, supporting them, even if it's with just a lurk. But when you are there, try to make a connection with them. Actually talk with them and have a good time with them. Like me and you, like we kind of sort of knew each other going into this. Not really good, but like we sat down when we went to do the promo and we started talking anime. We started talking cosplay and stuff. And it turns out we have a lot of similar interests. So it's one of those like, now I know a solid talking point for when I'm in your stream. Like, hey, did you catch the latest episode of this show? Or have you seen this anime? And that will generate a whole new list of conversations. Because now that we know this idea, it's like, boom, we got this. So having that genuine connection like that is something that is incredibly important. So like, if I just come to your stream like, hey, I'm here, and then 20 minutes later, like, hey, I'm lurking, we're never going to have that connection. Whether it's me and you or me or somebody else, because you're not putting out an effort. And I'm not saying that connection will always get you somebody to follow you back or come and see your content or whatnot, but it definitely helps. But the biggest thing with networking is, in my opinion at least, don't ever network and the level of support you show, never expect that back. Because you could be out here supporting 20 plus people, subbing to all these channels, dropping a lot of bits, and they might never come back to your channel. The level of support you give is you should never feel somebody's obligated to give that back to you.
Yeah.
Support
There's
somebody
no
because you want to.
monetary obligation exchange thing. Like, I think following is pretty harmless, right? If you're like, hey, follow for follow, I don't love doing that. I mean, I'll check out your stream, and if we jive, then sure. But like, I'm not going to, do it if I don't feel like you're in it to like connect with me, then it's not going to happen. Right. I had a guy actually recently, he dropped into my chat and was like, hey, you seem family friendly. Can you read my kids' book aloud on your stream right now? And I was like, you're a first time chatter. Like, no. I was just like,
that's when you're like, 10 subs and I'll do it. What's up?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, well, you're welcome to like join my Discord and introduce yourself and meet a couple people, and then you can add your book and share your art or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not going to take up my content time to promote you when I don't know you. Right?
Yeah.
Like.
So, Toasted Sloth. First and foremost, Toasted Sloth, welcome to the stream. And he put a good point right there. He said that he's heard of people getting mad because they've subbed to somebody and they didn't sub back to him. Now, like I said, I don't think it's necessary. Like, it's not required. If you sub to my channel, you should not feel like I have to sub to you. Now, if I come to your streams and I enjoy them, I'm gonna sub to them. But again, one of the big things people don't take into account is people's personal lives. Not everybody is always financially stable enough to drop a $5 sub, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's
No,
just one
that's
of
so
those
true.
things.
When I tell you that because I'm a cosplayer and people are like, "Oh my god, you make these huge armors, like, can you sub to my channel?" I'm just like, I spent all my money on that. You think I can sub to you right now? No. I can barely buy a sandwich. I can't spend biddies on that, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough that like the people that do support me who are in my chat, uh, that are friends of mine, genuine friends of mine, always expect nothing back, you
Mhm.
know, and that can be hard sometimes when you make those connections and you really, really want to support somebody, but you're not in a place that you monetarily or financially can. That's
Mhm.
hard. But there's other ways to support though. You can host them, you can give them shout outs on social media, you know, you can just lurk and just be there and be that view that helps them get a little bit more noticed. And you
Or
know,
like
I
Lucky Bart said right
yeah,
there,
yeah,
hosting. Hosting does so much more for
yes.
a person's stream than anybody understands.
Oh my God, it's so
Yes,
important. So
that's the
important.
easiest way you can come in and be like, "Hey, I can't even lurk. Let me host you real quick and I'm out." That does
Yes,
more for the stream than a lot of people understand.
yes,
I
yeah.
think somebody was telling me not long ago, I think it's like 7 to 10. If 7 to 10 people host your channel, it helps push, yeah, 10. It'll put you on the recommended page.
It's
So
awesome.
if you
That's really
have
great.
10 friends that'll just boom, as soon as you stream back, hey man, here's a
Yeah.
host. Like that helps because one, that would potentially help bring more people in. And then,
Hmm.
they helped you out with hosting. They might not be there, but
Yeah.
they helped you out bringing more people
Oh
to
yeah.
you.
I mean, I just recently, like last month, found out about the auto host feature, and I was like, all right, let me add my people. Let me put them on there, because like you know, like I wish I could be here all the time, and I have a hard enough time keeping up with everybody's chats, let alone my Discord. And I'm like, no,
Hmm.
I get it showing up on my Discord, but like you know, it's trying to keep up with the things and you know be as supportive as possible as
Yeah.
much as I can. Yeah.
All right, let's jump to the next one. All right, how
Yes.
how important is being organized as a streamer and a cosplayer? How important is that to have all that organized?
Yes. That is funny you say that. So I had to stop the creation of my stuff when I lost the organizational safety of my stuff. So my cosplay room, I'll just leave it at that, got to a place where couldn't really work in there anymore. So I've been spending the past few weeks getting everything organized. Everything is labeled, everything is in a box, everything is really nice and bellissima now. And when I was doing that, I got rid of a lot of stuff. I got rid of a lot of old cosplays, and it was like hard, but at the same time, cleaning out the old to make room for the new was so important. So important. And especially if you're doing something like content creation and everything, unless you're not using it on like a normal basis or something, you put it in a folder of like past projects and you put it away and you put it to the side and you get it out. So that way you can focus on the new, right?
Okay.
So for me, it's been really hard to get to that point. Like we already talked about how I had to like limit where my screen is because I got some laundry to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, but at the same time, it's just like I do what I need to do to process to keep going and to be comfortable. And then, you know, it doesn't have to be immaculate. It doesn't have to be amazing. But it's the same thing as like when you clean your desk, for example.
Hmm.
You suddenly like, okay, like now I can work on stuff. Now I'm excited to be here now. And I think that carries through everything, you know, regardless of
100%.
like, yeah, regardless of
100%.
physical, digital, mental organization. That's a whole thing in itself. Is writing a list. I write a list when I pack because I can't mentally process all of those things. I will forget something. I say every single day, I'm like, I'm gonna forget one thing, and I hope it's not this. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like that one thing I'm gonna forget something,
hey,
but you know,
if it's just one, you're doing pretty decent.
yeah. And I'm just like, oh, lucked out. It was my mints. Don't need my mints today. Here we go. You know what I mean? So
So do you ever organize like let's say your gaming desk. Do you ever organize your stuff and then lose what you did because you're so used to where it was already at before you organized it?
Yes, it's infuriating because you're just like, Anna, dang it, I cleaned it. Where did it go? Where
It's
did I
like
put it?
I did that
Shoot.
the other day, and I rearranged like where some of my stuff was on my desk, and my Nintendo Switch controller. I moved it
Mhm.
from like right here on my right hand side to underneath one of my monitors. That way, like I can see the red and blue. I'm like, all right, it's right there. I know when I need it, I can just grab it. So like the unfortunate part about doing that is my son is tall enough to reach on my desk. So like I
Oh
wasn't paying attention. So
no.
like the other day, yesterday actually, I was supposed to be doing my Soul Link, and I'm like, where the hell is my controller? I know I just saw it. And then like I walked in the
Right.
living room and my son's sitting on the couch just like playing with it. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And I
And
was like,
there
I
it is.
need I need that.
You're like, I needed it.
Yeah, so it's one of those
I need
like
it.
organization is incredibly important, but it's also
Yes.
once you get used to what you're already like unorganized at, organizing it
Yeah.
you have to like reprocess everything.
Yes.
But organization is
Absolutely.
incredibly important.
Yes. Yes. I'm not always great at it, but when I do,
It's one of those like,
we're gonna
okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna organize this today.
we're gonna do it. Oh, yeah. I'm that person. I'm just like I let it get a little bit more than out of hand, but when I do it, I go in and just like we're gonna do it. Yeah,
All right.
for
So
sure.
next question: what did you learn in this past year streaming? Because you're approaching your 1 year mark. What is one piece of
Yes.
knowledge that you have taken and used to improve yourself as a streamer or as a cosplayer?
To allow myself to learn. So I love doing research on what I'm doing. I like being prepared for when I'm going to do stuff and feel like I know what I'm talking about. It's kind of harking back to what I said about before is where like if you don't look at your past stuff and you're embarrassed, then you're not improving. Um, but I learned this year that like just to allow myself to like, okay, I'm learning. That was not great, but what did we learn? You know what I mean? And it's like trying not to get frustrated, but learn the lesson and just keep going
That makes sense.
and just kind of, yeah.
I think having the ability to learn is something that a lot of people take for granted
Yes.
because having that
Mm-hmm.
ability to sit there and learn from either a past mistake or a
Mm-hmm.
past I won't say triumphant, but that's not the right word to
Mm-hmm.
use.
Yeah.
A past reward, and you're like, I can learn from this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that a lot of
Yes.
people don't really take into account. A lot of people will take a
Yeah.
failure and be like, oh, well, I failed. Don't ever look at something as a failure. Always look at it
Yeah.
as I never fail. I either win or I learned. That's something I
Like,
take. So I
yeah.
was a MMA fighter for a very long time.
Oh, nice.
I actually am undefeated when I was an active fighter, but in training, I never lost because
Mm-hmm.
even if I was in a position where I had to tap out or if I was in a position where I got hurt, I never lost. I always learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that
Mm-hmm.
from my fighting perspective and I took that into my real life, the
Mm-hmm.
way I deal with real life stuff because I find that to be incredibly important. I never want to quit learning because
Yeah.
there's always somebody that's going to do something better than me or do something that I find
Mm-hmm.
more
Yeah.
attractive to myself. So having that ability to learn
Yeah.
is incredibly important.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like what you said about comparing yourself to other people because that was another thing that I'm just that I in my youth I'm a little bit older than you but not by much. But when I was in college that was the biggest thing that I struggled with because I was doing musical theater and you're always being compared against other people for roles and all of that kind of stuff and you know who did it better this person or this person do they look right for this or do they look like this is this person too skinny too fat too ethnic too whatever
Mm-hmm.
and so growing up in that I just kind of had to be like this is me this is my package buy it or don't and
I
that's
like it.
fine
Well,
and just like you got to love your packaging you know what I mean because like if you can't buy it yourself no one else is gonna buy it you know what I mean
I find that important with like watching VODs.
yeah
So like a lot of people that I've talked to, they don't watch their own VODs. So
Yeah,
I personally, I go back and watch mine.
I
Not
do
every single
too.
one of them, and I don't watch the
Yeah,
entirety of it, but I do skim
yeah,
through it. But it's one of
yeah.
those like if I'm watching it and I'm bored, I know somebody else
Right.
is. How can I
Yes.
improve on that? How can
Yeah.
I keep on? So like perfect example when I was doing this back in the day, uh back when I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean,
Yeah.
I still don't really know what I'm doing. I'm still learning.
Do we ever?
But like
I don't think anybody should know what they're doing, first off. I
I would
think
watch oh go ahead. My bad.
Oh, I was just gonna say a real quick thing that one of the things that I always keep in mind, right, as far as like knowing what you're doing versus someone else who doesn't, is my mom loves saying that if you know 10% more than somebody else, you're the expert in the room.
Not wrong.
10% is not a lot.
No.
10% could be like, hey, did you know you could do this? And they're like, wow, I didn't know that. And that's it. That's literally all it has to take. Not that you need to be like in a conceited place about it, but to give yourself more credit that you might know more than you
Yeah,
think you do. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, like I completely lost what I was gonna say now.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, no,
I
no.
was
It's
just like,
cool. It's one of
ah.
those like it was there and then I went to say it and it just left.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come back. Oh no, sorry. Oh, see, back. So like I would watch my old streams and like
Hmm.
talking used to be a big thing that I was terrible at. So like I would watch my
Hmm.
VODs and I noticed it'd be like a 10-15 minute period where I just was like I was zoned in on the game and I wouldn't say anything. Or like I
Yeah.
would look at chat and it would be more of like short responses and I'm like I had to sit down with myself and I was like, as a
Yeah.
streamer, where do I want to be? And I was like, I want to have a chat. I want to be able to just
Yeah.
like the game's always going to be there. My chat's not.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons.
Right.
Like I said earlier, I want everybody in my streams or in my Discord or whatnot to feel like family. It's because of that.
Yes.
And it's like that game will always be there. I can pick that game up in 20, 30, 45 minutes after I'm done talking with everybody. And then,
Right.
even then I can always pause it and then jump back to chat. Like I
Yeah, I've literally started games and then chat just starts going nuts and I'm like, all right, we're not playing right now. We're just gonna we're just gonna do this like like
so
3 minutes of gameplay and it's like let's talk for 20. You know what I mean?
that's how
Like
my first just chatting stream I ever
yeah,
did. That was
yeah,
actually how that happened. I started talking. I was doing my
yeah,
intro and my introductions to everything or my announcements,
yeah.
and then chat just started blowing up. Like
Going.
everybody had something to say about something. We started
Yeah,
talking about other stuff, and then next thing I knew, I looked down. It had been 2.5 hours, and we were just talking the whole time. And I was like, I fucking love
yeah,
this. This is awesome.
yeah,
How can I incorporate
yeah,
this more often? But
yeah,
it's some of those like having just chatting streams. I'd love to have more of them, but at the
yeah.
same time, you're not always guaranteed to have somebody there having a conversation back. So it's one of
Right,
those like
right.
I take them when I can get them, and when I don't get them, it's okay because then I got the game and I'm
I
narrating the game while
yeah.
still talking to the people who are here.
Sure. I always feel for that kind of thing, you just start with like a chill game, a cozy game, a game that's like not too heavily story based or something like that. So that way you can turn it into a just chatting
Hmm.
or it's just a cozy game. You know what I mean? And that's how I kind of figured out that flux was I started doing more cozy content on my channel versus story heavy content because I wanted to focus more on chat versus like the story and the voice acting, which is so important as well. But I mean, you don't have a stream without a chat, right? So, but it got to the point where like I had to, for certain games, I've gotten so good at like keeping chat up that I'll forget to play the game entirely. And my mods have we made a focus command to where like, Kem's got to get good and play this game. So she won't talk for a minute. I was like, okay, all right, I get it. I'll stop.
It's like I
Focus.
got you.
Okay, I got it.
All right, so
Let me
Crow's
play the
Nest.
game. That's why you're here. Yeah.
Crow's Nest has a suggestion about how
Yes.
on like one of your streaming days, I'm just chatting day. Have you ever considered doing something like that?
I did something like that like a while ago. It's been a hot minute since the last time I did that. But I got a package of Sailor Moon merch because as we talked about off stream, I am a nerd. I have a Sailor Moon right next to my webcam. And and it was an unboxing stream and that's kind of how I figured that out. And then Yeah, that would be nice to do that again. I used to make a list of like bullet points from throughout my day that I could talk about while I was doing the game,
I do
which I
that.
should keep doing, honestly. But it basically is like it's a funny story, or it's a weird thought, or it's like a weird thing that like chat can talk about. Like one of my favorite ones is like, where are all the baby pigeons? Where are they? That's a, you know what I mean? And that starts the wheels turning, and it's just weird. But you
So,
know.
so are we going on to the conspiracy that they're all made?
Listen, I'm not gonna say yes or no to that, but you know, it's all
Understandable.
good.
Dot Slover, welcome to the stream. And speaking with her off of cam or on our promo day, I can agree with that statement. But there is
Yes,
absolutely
yes,
nothing wrong with that because I am a huge nerd myself. I have
yes.
Tanjiro's sword from Demon Slayer right here beside me. I have Thor's
Love it.
Stormbreaker right beside me as well.
Can I show you my Keyblade?
Sure.
Can I show you my Keyblade?
Go for it.
I love. It's
look,
one of a kind,
I don't
and
know
it got made. It
if
was
you
made by
can
a
see
carpenter.
the background with all the swords and whatnot right here.
I'm very excited. Oh, I can.
But I love any and all weaponry.
There you go. There you go. I don't know if you can see
Nice.
that. I don't know how we are, but yeah, it's got little Kingdom Key Mickey. But there you go. So yeah, this is actually one of the main reasons that I started cosplaying as well. Because when I was Kyrie, my sister's partner at the time was a carpenter, and he made this for me. And everybody kept saying like, "Oh my god, did you make it?" I was like, "No, I didn't, but thank you." And I was like, "I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna do it myself."
That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Let me just like make it so it doesn't fall over and crash. Okay, cool. But anyway.
All right. But yeah, so I encourage people to lean into being a nerd. So like when I was in high school, I used to hide it. Like I wouldn't tell people that I watched anime and stuff like. But I was also really, really heavily bullied when I was in high school,
Yes.
which is a topic for a completely different day. But I was bullied relentlessly, and I didn't want to give anybody any extra ammo. So I always was like, I'm not telling anybody about that. But like, I tell people like lean into it. It's fun. It's amazing. You have no idea because some of the people who bullied me, they might have been anime nerds too and just didn't want other people to know it. Maybe that could have been a bonding point to keep them from bullying me. I don't know that. I like to think
I can't
that.
I can't speak for the youth now. Like I don't really know, but I would say definitely anybody that can have a Twitch account, 13 and above. I think it's pretty easy to find a community now that you'll like and enjoy that likes the same things you do. And you know, I like I said, I can't speak for younger than that, but at the same time, like how nice is that, right? Like as long as you have a connection of some sort, there's a community out there.
There
That's
was
so cool.
one day on one of my just chatting days when I was trying it out, I did a anime tier listing, a Naruto tier listing where I and listen, if I don't, I think I have some of the clips. I don't have the VOD saved. I got so much hate from my community from that because I did plot. I didn't do power scaling. I did their importance to the show, like their plot points, and I went off manga as well. So I don't know about you, but I read manga as well. So like we did Naruto.
I have a petite collection back there. Petite.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. But I did Naruto, and I put Sasuke as a D tier character, or I might maybe C tier.
Gonna do a lot of hate. Yep.
So like everybody was like, and I put Jiraiya, as a lot of people know, Jiraiya is my favorite character. I put him as S tier. Yeah, I put him as the S tier. And everybody was like, why the hell is he up there? He got one by pain. He was like, first and foremost, but y'all don't know is all the things he's done in the mangas. He's like, oh, well, mangas don't. Yes, it does. Mangas definitely counts. Fuck all that.
Manga counts.
But like,
always.
Like, they bullied me so hard because I was like, Sasuke is a trash character. And everybody was like, what? No, he's amazing. I was like, no. Power-wise, he's good.
That's what we call nostalgic goggles.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
I explained, like, I broke it down, like, 8 times during that stream. Oh, here we go, Mr. West. He's gonna hate me.
I read the manga, and I don't know what you're talking about. It's so funny because I really wanted to start doing the tier list thing because I noticed like a few of my friends were doing it. It was starting to become more popular, but I was like, how can I make it my own but not get hate? So I had my mom come on. We call her Mama Kem. and Mama Chem rated all the first gen of Pokemon and absolutely trashed like a decent amount of them, including all of the ghost Pokemon at the time. And it made for great clips. I've made it highlights and stuff since then, but oh boy. And yeah, no, it's I even ended up making like a little voice clip that said the thoughts and opinions of Mama Kim do not reflect the thoughts and opinion of KemCosplay. Do not take this seriously. Be nice to my mom. And like, and my mom was like, I appreciate that you told them to be nice to me. I was like, they would anyway, but like, you're gonna make a lot of people really mad.
So, like, as you can see in the chat, Mr. M. Westby is one of the bigger people who got mad. And
he's like, let's go, boy.
No, he literally messaged me and was like, I want to set up a date where me and you get on here and we debate this. Like, that's
that'd be fun.
Yeah, and we haven't set a date for that. Maybe one day in the future. But he constantly, he'll randomly pop up in stream like, Sasuke's not an S tier or a D tier. I don't remember if I put him in C tier or D tier. But like, I literally broke down. Like, I would have new people come in the stream. Like, new people would come in the stream and be like, why is Sasuke so low? And I'd be like, okay, wait, let me break it down for you again. So it's just one of those
I'm reaching for my idea notebook because you just gave me I want Mama Chem to rate Sailor Moon characters.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because she knows. Like, I mean, look at Hello, my room. Like, but yeah. I don't think she knows. You know what I mean? So that would be really, really great. All right. Well, I'm just gonna save that for later.
All right. So moving on to the next question. Do you prefer to work independently or do you prefer to work in a team environment like collaboration streams?
I love this question because it depends on the task. In general, I consider myself a really good team player. I'm willing to let other people use their ideas. I'm willing to collaborate. You're going to have an idea that just might inspire me to like have other ways to collaborate and everything. But when it comes to like, if it's a lot of work, obviously I want as much help as possible. If it's a specific idea or something, don't talk to me, I'm working. You know what I mean? So like, for example, for my own content, I don't know that I would trust other people to edit my content just yet. Unless it was somebody that I know that's a friend of mine. You know what I mean? Because I have that kind of idea in my head a certain way. And I'm like, I know that I would like think about it too much and be like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. If it's something that I can't do or I need help doing, or it's like beyond my reach of like what I would think of, absolutely I want help with it. But when it comes to like making an Instagram post, I'm like, nah, I got it. Thank you so much. I will take care of that myself.
So we're moving more into the in-depth questions about your streams and whatnot. So
let's go.
The next question is, how important are raids to you?
Ooh.
And so do you think you have to raid at the end of every stream?
I don't think you have to raid it at the end of every stream, especially if depending on how many people are in chat or that kind of thing. But I do like raiding at the end of the stream, especially if we can meet someone new or support a smaller streamer or someone's trying to get to affiliate. Let's get them there. Or hey, here's a bigger streamer. Maybe they have some great content. You know what I mean? So it's looking into all those avenues. When a raid happens on my channel, I've made a couple raid videos because I know how important it is to like introduce myself, make that first impression, and give people pretty much a taste of like what they can expect on my channel. And the people who like it will either follow or they're gonna lurk. And then the people who don't, they just dip. So I'm like, great. Because it's literally like 1 minute of everyone's time. And the people who are there all the time are like, I love these clips.
I remember that was one of the first things I said when I rated you, because I really like that idea.
Thank you. Yeah. For some reason, I started getting rated pretty quickly for like a quick span of time. So I was lucky enough that I had made 2 raid videos. I had enough clips at the time that I was just like, here's some decent clips. I'm just going to put them together. So I've literally had it to where like I play a raid video, we have 10 minutes, and then I immediately get another raid, and I'm like, all right, you get another video, here we go. And then, yeah. So it's nice because it quickly gets rid of any kind of floundering to try to like introduce myself. I still do it, but I say it in the video. So, it's
Hmm.
like I don't feel that pressure to be anything more than, like, hey, did you want to hey, did you like, huh? It's just like the video is like, I'm a weird goofball. Here's
It gives more of
examples.
a broad horizon of what
Yeah,
you
it's a
are.
more broad spectrum, and I feel like I already need to update it because my content itself has already changed since I made those videos, because now
Yeah,
I'm playing like a lot of hidden object games, which are very like different. So, but it's, adding in all of that as I'm changing, my content should reflect that.
yeah.
But to answer your question about raids, yes, important. Necessary, no, but always a good thing, regardless.
I can agree. Now, have you ever had a raid where you've raided out on somebody and they perceived it poorly? Because very recently, me and Kainsey, when we do our
Hmm.
streams on Saturdays, we do a
Uh-huh.
double raid. So we'll message each other through stream and be like, "Hey, is
Hmm.
this person the person we want to raid today?" And it wasn't this past week; it was the week before last. We raided out, and I think he had like 14 or 15 people. I had 10 or 11 people, and they was like, "Oh, thank you," and like very, very said it very sarcastically. Now, me
Yeah.
personally, I don't think the
Hmm.
way people react to rage matter. Uh,
Hmm.
it's one of those like everybody deals with rage differently, and not everybody's going to be
Sure.
super hyped and excited. But
Right.
it was one of those like it was very sarcastic, nonchalant, didn't care
Yeah.
about it. So, have you ever had a
Yeah.
situation like that? And if so, how did you deal with that?
Um, I have raided into people before that just didn't know how to like take the raid that happened. I think mine was semi-similar. Like they got raided, and then we ended up raiding shortly after that. Um, but they were just kind of like, "Oh, hi, okay." And then they just kept going, and
Yeah.
like it's something. It's A, you can't take it personally because all the odds of them knowing who you are is like nil to zero. And then B, it's like, okay, we're not going to raid them again, right? Like that's the long and short of it. Is like if someone from my channel stuck it out and like wants to see what their content is, then great. Like they might enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
But if it comes off as sour for, I know the majority of what the chat is from what I'm feeling, I'm just not going to raid that person again. And then you don't take it personally, you just keep moving on. So,
Okay, that's a good way to look at it. Like I said, I
yeah.
personally don't care how it's perceived. It's
Right.
if whoever is in there supporting me wants to stay, then I'm glad I was able to bring that type of support
Yeah,
to them.
exactly.
But then
Yeah.
again, if they're like, "Oh, well, you're just not the way you dealt with that is completely
Yeah.
wrong," they might just leave too.
Yeah.
Now, and it's one of those. Like I said, everybody deals with rates differently.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Um.
So, they either appreciate it or they don't. It's very
Mhm.
clear which one they are, regardless of how enthusiastic they seem about it. And then you make a decision shortly after that.
Agreed. All right. So next thing up, how do you deal with backseating? Are you okay with backseating?
It depends on the game. For some things, I have a no backseating rule in my Discord. Um, at the same time, I am not shy to ask my chat for help. I'm like, chat, what do I do? What, should I do this or do I do this? What am I doing? Where do I go? I don't know. Because that's just part of my content too. Is I will more often than not rely on chat, which is why we can play things like hidden object games together.
Yeah.
Um, I have had it before where some people come in and they try to backseat to the point where they're giving me spoilers. And I'm just like, you need to stop, or I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, or you're gonna get kicked. And I don't
Hmm.
want to do that, but I don't want it spoiled. I want to enjoy the game. Thank you so much. It's in my rules. Like, So
That is something that I
it's
really have not updated
yeah,
since I implemented it. I think the only rule on my channel, like when you click on chatting, is don't be an
yeah,
asshole.
yeah. Yeah, I think there's I like having the rules. I like having the okay to click before you start, because people do that. It's like, you agree to my rules. That's in my rules. Decisions are final by my mods, which is also in my rules. So it's just like, not that I want to be like a stickler for rules or anything, but if you're going to be a spoiler owl and come in here and go whoo and tell me everything, then I'm gonna like, no, like, I'm not gonna put up with that. I don't need to. I don't have to. So
I agree.
and then they could always find someone else who's playing the same game as me 9 times out of 10. So I've been very fortunate that I don't have many unsavory or unfortunate circumstances happen in my chat. I have a button that I've never used for a hate raid. I've never
Uh,
had one. I'm so fortunate and thankful about that, and just like, knock on wood, it never happens. But at the same time, like, I have it. I'm prepared should that happen.
I have a
But
whole file set up on the very last
yeah,
page of my stream deck, and it's for that. So it will turn follower
yeah,
only mode on, or sub only mode on. My
yeah,
bad. It will clear the
yeah.
chat, and
Mine turns into emote chat only
I
too.
was gonna say
Mine's pretty fun.
I considered doing that one as well. I was like, I think I
Yeah,
have actually I think I have that on there in case they do end up
yeah,
subbing, and then they can still talk.
yeah,
So it's one of
yeah.
those like,
Mine deletes the previous chat completely, enters it into emote mode, and then locks it into subscriber only. So it's basically like, and then that's got a 5-minute timer on it, and it will stay on sub until I'm able to figure stuff out or whatever.
yeah.
And like I said, haven't had to use it, but like, I've watched enough research videos of like, things you should have on your stream deck, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I might need that one day. Who knows? It's just a
Yeah.
fire button that says 911 on it.
I like it. All right, so let's move into some of the nitty gritty parts of your channel.
Sure. Yeah.
What is something or what qualifies someone to be a moderator in your channel?
Ooh, that is so funny that you say that. So, all of my mods never asked to be a mod. In fact, I gave them the green sword of justice without them asking, knowing, or expecting it. So basically, I only give mod privileges to the people that I really, really trust, who are there all the time, who have my personal phone number, frankly, and information. So we are friends.
Yeah.
I don't pay my mods. I wish that I could, but I also don't expect them to work for me, right? Like, like, we're mods for each other's channels too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I support you. I'm here for you. If I see some shenanigans, I'm gonna bump them out. You know what I mean? But other than that, there's no written contract. There's no payment involved. I pay her them in love. Dodger just said she's one of my mods. So, but yeah, like, I basically chose my mods because I trust them and they are friends of mine. And I've had a couple people ask if they could be mods, and they were like, "What are the qualifications?" I was like, "I gotta know you for like at least 9 months. I have to trust you with my information, and you need my personal phone number. If you don't have all three of those things, you cannot be a mod. Like, no." So,
You just had
and
answered like the
obviously,
next
like,
four questions. Awesome.
oh, great. So, it's one of those things to where, just like, I think it's just so funny that, like, they didn't want or know or ask to be a mod, and I was like, "Here's a sword. Enjoy."
Don't swing it at the wrong people. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I trust all of them, and they goof sometimes, and they're like, "Ah," and I'm like, "You wouldn't. You're fine."
All right, so you said you don't pay your mods, and that's going to lead
I
into
do
our
not.
next question.
Yes.
Dodger said that you pay with love. So the way I repay my mods, because like I said, I don't pay my mods either. The way I repay them is with my time on other social medias, on other platforms.
Sure.
So like
Yeah.
if they post on YouTube, I will like it, comment on it, and watch the full
Mhm.
length of the video. If it's on
Yeah.
TikTok, same thing. Instagram, same thing. That's how I repay
Yeah.
my mods. Just because like some of them do go live when I'm at work, so I can't be there to
Yeah.
watch their streams. So like that's another way I can potentially help promote them. So
Yeah.
that is how I repay them. But paying with love
Yeah.
also works as well.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a
some
good
of my
thing.
yeah, because I'm more than happy to give them shout outs. I'll usually do it without them knowing and then tag them. They're like, oh my God, thank you. And then some of them are just playing like spooky games or games that I just don't vibe with. And I'm just like, I lurk, but I will not be here. Enjoy your stream. And I just have to be like, love you, can't be here.
Yeah.
You great though. Yeah.
All right. So the next question, and technically, I think this is going to be one of the last questions because you just answered like 4 of them with that last answer.
Love it.
At what point do you think mods should start getting paid?
I think mods should start getting paid when the streamer can financially, safely, and happily be able to do so. All my mods know it. Most of my chat knows it. I'm not in a place in my life where I'm even like financially comfortable right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't expect anything from me, which
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for. But at the same time, if I was making that bank, if I was partner, they'd be getting paid. I would make sure I would figure out a way to make that happen for sure. I don't know any of the logistics of any of those things, but like if I was making enough money to like live my daily life and be able to like give them what they rightfully deserve, I would
Mm-hmm.
in a heartbeat. But we're not there. We ain't there right now. So
One day.
love it is all the love. That's
Yeah.
what you get.
I think I say this, but I think you do have something special, and
Thank you.
that's
Thank
an
you.
honest thing coming from me. I think you do have something special, and I do think
Thank you.
moving forward you are going to make leaps and bounds in the streaming community
Thank
and in
you.
cosplay. Like I said, I've seen some of your cosplays on Instagram. Phenomenal. Love them. They're
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you so much.
It's a work of art.
I have
Picasso. I like it.
I have big plans and ideas. It's just a matter of manifesting them physically, and we're getting there. We're doing it.
So, the last question I'm going to ask before I open it up to the chat and
Yes.
potentially open it up to you as well. So,
Sure.
if there is one piece of streamer advice you can give to somebody who's starting stream today will be the first time they ever hit the go live button. What is one piece of advice you would give them?
Just go. Just record. Just press the button. Just do it. Have a plan. Do your research. Know what you're gonna do. Be excited about what you're gonna do. But then just do it. Don't try to finagle everything to be perfection. You can always work on the details later. But the longer that you put it off, the harder it's gonna be to just press that button and do it. And like honestly, when you're gonna go do it, let some friends know. Tell your close friends, tell your parents, tell your siblings, tell cousins, tell whoever you feel comfortable enough to watch you and just be there for your first ever stream to support, and then just do it and just go for it. Because the longer you put it off, the longer you put it off. You know what I mean? It's just so much harder, and the more mental game it becomes when you're trying not to, yeah.
I agree and semi disagree with the telling your friends part because I did that.
Sure.
And when I tell you I had a whole whopping 0 of my friends come out to support, I'm just kidding. Like friends in real life. Like I told them, I was like, hey, I'm gonna start streaming stuff. I'd love for y'all to come and hang out. None of them. Not a single one of them. I'd be like, damn, bro, I thought we were cool. But yeah, I do agree because
I had one friend and my mom, and that's who I had. So
I agree with telling people that for the simple fact that some friends are like, ride or die. Hell yeah, I'm gonna come and watch a stream. I'm gonna be there to support you. And some people are like, we're still friends. So it's one of those like, I agree with your answer. Tell everybody.
Yeah.
And hope for the best. But don't think just because y'all are good friends or even best friends that they're gonna come to your streams.
Oh, don't let it affect your perception of the real life people in your life. For sure. because some people can't make it. Some people might not be interested. Some people don't even know how to make a Twitch account. Some people just might forget about it. Some people might be busy. And, and then some people might be like, I wanted to, but I didn't. And just, you're great. And I like you, but I'm sorry, And at the end of the day, you can't take it personally. And you're doing it because you want to do it. And if you're doing it because you want to do it, you shouldn't expect that from other people. So
100% agree with that answer.
Yeah.
Like Tosa Slaw said, his advice would be expect nothing and appreciate everything.
Yes.
Quote of the day, right there. I loves it.
Bam.
Also, he said he's been eyeballing your Pikachu Snorlax back there. He likes it.
Oh, ta-da! I have a small, mild Snorlax collection. He is one of my top 3 favorite Pokemon. And I have a cheeky cosplaying Pikachu in there as a Snorlax. So it's a slow but growing collection.
Right.
But I'm
so
working on it.
So he's in your top 3. Who's number 1?
Oh, see, that's the thing, is it depends on my mood, and they just switch. So, Snorlax, Ditto, Totodile.
Ditto.
3. Yeah.
I think you were the only person in my entire life I've ever heard say Ditto is one of their favorites.
Really? Oh my god, I love Ditto so much.
Totodile and Snorlax, I am 100% see. Ditto is like... That one's got me stumbled.
Cool. Listen, he can be everybody, and he's still himself, because he's got the derpy face, and we love that. He's basically cosplaying, so we love face.
That. I like it. That's a good reason, though. So my number 1 is Gliscor. That's my favorite guy.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's because of the anime, how derpy he is in the anime.
There you go. I mean, Totodile literally made it to my top 3 because he's the from the anime. And I'm like, he's like a freaking crocodile duck. How can you not love that?
Ditto equals cosplay. Yes. Bucci, welcome to the stream. And Toasted Sloth.
I didn't even realize that till I just said it just now, but I'm like, that explains so much.
Sloth, that emote is terrifying because it's an angry Togepi. That's why.
Is that an angry Togepi? I'm looking at, oh my
it's a menacing Togepi, like he's mad. Been lurking like an hour. Thank you for that, Bucci. All right, so we have reached the point in time where chat, y'all get to ask us questions. Now, either you can ask myself or her, or combination question. Y'all can let us know. Also, Kim, I know we talked about it. I don't think I like Togepi anymore. Shut up. Yes, you do. All right, so we talked about. I let my guest pick the raid. If you would like to search and find one while we start winding everything down.
Let me figure it out really quick.
I do. I think Snorlax should probably be in my top 5. Not gonna lie to you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can literally use him as your mains for like cut, surf, all of that stuff, or he has just great moves on his own. So like, I can surf on a Snorlax.
I mean, he's like a float. He's a little island.
Yes.
If you could be any character from Scooby-Doo, who would you be? That's an interesting question right there.
Ooh, any character from Scooby-Doo? Like cosplaying or like be that person? Because that's a very different question. If I was cosplaying, I'd be Velma. Because that's so fun.
To be them in the
show.
I think I'm Shaggy. I think that's who I'm picking. Hit him with
like, I was also kind of thinking that's pretty good.
I do a couple voices.
Yeah, I was also thinking like if I was going to be anybody, probably Scoob, to be honest, because I'm like not because he's main character energy. That's really good, but I mean they only just see the creepy thing. They never get captured. They're not losing their glasses. They don't have to come up with some weird trap. They're just in it and they get food.
Okay, I will not change my answer. I will still say I'd probably be Shaggy. But the second character that I would more than likely, I'd probably be Scrappy.
Scrappy?
I'd probably be Scrappy. I would probably be Scrappy because Because I
It
talk a lot of shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's just embedded in my
Oh, for
DNA.
sure.
So like
Yeah.
in that aspect, I would probably be like, "What up, Ghost? You ain't nothing. You a bitch. I'm about to throw hands with you," and then get like pummeled because you know you like this big. You're a little bitty puppy. So that'd probably be where the two
You're
characters
like,
I would
you're
rock
itty
with.
bitty baby puppy. Yeah.
We should be
No.
Old Man Jenkins.
This person. I just sent it to you. Or do you want me to send it to you in actual chat?
I
It's up
got
to
to pull. I got you pulled up.
you. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Pull it up. They're ready. All right. So chat. Any other questions?
Yes. Any other questions? Oh man, Jenkins fair. Shaggy do be with Velma. That is so true. It's canon now.
It's canon. So the other reason I would probably say Shaggy is because I don't know if you've seen a game called Multiverse that's recently come out.
Oh no, I know of Multiverse. My partner's obsessed.
I
and
am
he
a
hasn't unlocked
Shaggy main.
and I'm so upset about it. I was just like, I would main Shaggy
I am.
if I could.
He was the first character I unlocked. Actually,
Yeah.
as of right now, the only character I've actually unlocked, that is my main.
Yeah, the first one he unlocked, he was playing as Superman, and his first unlock was Tom and Jerry, and I was just like, sure, like nostalgic. No wonder we're together. But come on, Shaggy though, like come on.
Shaggy is phenomenal.
Shaggy's the man. He'll hit you with a sandwich, and then he'll like use a source of his power. That was not a good Shaggy, but that's what I have to offer you today.
He hits you with the old 360 spin kick, and his game on.
Game on. Apparently, Velma calls the police, which I think is hilarious.
So I played against Velma for the first time a couple of days ago, and literally all she did was stand on the opposite corner of the map and use long range attacks, and it's super annoying. I hated playing against her.
Listen, in every shooter, I want to be either a sniper or a shotgun. If I can, I want one of each. But I'm a hang back kind of person when it comes to shooters, and then when it comes to melee, like give me that big beat. Hence why I am a hammer main in Monster Hunter.
Makes sense.
Make two giant real life, bigger than me, 1-to-1 scale hammers for a reason. So there's that. I'm Big Bonko, exactly. Yes.
Big Bonko.
That's exactly it.
All right, chat. So, any other questions, or Kim, do you have any questions you would like to ask me?
Ooh, what made you want to start interviewing?
I got interviewed. Somebody on TikTok interviewed me. Oh, hey, I found it over here. Celtic Warrior, welcome in.
Over here, Celtic is one of my mods. Hello,
King Lou, J Clutched, Villa, and Celtic Warrior. Welcome to the stream. So, about 4, maybe 5 months ago now, somebody on TikTok was presenting that they were doing interviews with other content creators, and I was like, sure, I want to try that. And it was a shot in the dark because he had a ton of comments and everything. So like, yeah, I'll give it a shot in the dark. And I was like, yeah, man, I'd love to. And he messaged me back within like an hour, and I was like, holy shit. I wasn't expecting him to say yes or anything. So he interviewed me. It was a weird interview, not gonna lie to you, but it was fun. And
yeah,
I've always wanted to do something like that, but it was one of those I never really know.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's weird. Sorry.
You're good.
One of my moderators was messaging me. But yeah, it was one of those like they interviewed me, and I enjoyed the interview process. And so I've wanted to do this since I got interviewed. And I've always been really scared to ask people for collaborations because this is technically what it is, because you're taking the time out of your day.
That's true. Yeah.
Or if you're doing if it's one of your natural streaming days, so like Mondays are normally the days I do this. It's one of those I don't want to take away from you and your streaming days. So it's one of those I've always been really, really nervous to asking and reaching out. And just recently I've been on a big bucket kick in the sense of like,
yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, it's one of those like the worst they could say is no. And you know, if they say no, that's fine. Move on to the next one. Because I've actually had quite a few people say no to doing this. And
Sure.
it's one of those like I'm a little gutted when it happens, but it's also one of those like it's all right. Move forward. Shut up, Booch. But yeah, that's
Love
really
it.
what the reason I wanted to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have had the pleasure of doing quite a few interviews, and almost all of them have to do with like my cosplay stuff, obviously. Um, but every time, like the first few times, I'm like, I'm talking about myself too much. But I've learned to just kind of relax and just talk and enjoy the process, and hope I don't come off like too narcissistic or anything. And just
Yeah,
like and just and enjoy talking about the journey, frankly. Yeah.
I agree.
So.
And another thought process behind it was the fact that everybody's ideas and thoughts behind streaming completely different. So
Oh,
like I
absolutely.
said, I believe this is my seventh one. There
Hmm.
are some answers to questions that are always the same, and there are some answers to
Hmm.
questions that are completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And that's one of the reasons
Hmm.
I like doing this because I had a conversation with one of my other friends that's a streamer just about streaming, and I realized just how vastly different our ideas was, or
Hmm.
the way we perceive things. And I was like,
Hmm.
if mine and yours are that much different, how different are mine and somebody else's? And that
Right.
was kind of why
Yeah.
I wanted to start doing this as well, just to because like say somebody new who's never met me and you watch this interview on
Hmm.
YouTube when it goes on YouTube, and they're like
Hmm.
they get inspired by something one of us says. That's part of the
Right.
reason
Yeah.
because they could be in a slump, they could read this and be like, "Oh, that's really cool. Maybe I should
Hmm.
check into doing this."
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's another reason behind it.
Yeah. I mean, any insight and experience is valuable, especially if it's coming from multiple perspectives, right?
Hmm.
So like I love that I was like looking at you, but I wasn't looking at you. So, but it's but it's yeah, it's when I was going to start streaming, like I said, I really love doing research. So I watched not just from one person, but from like a bunch of different people on YouTube and on Twitch that were talking about it in various ways about like streaming and this behind it and their mythology and like what to do, what not to do. And some of those things just like absolute opposite. But at the end of the day, I took what I felt was right for me, what made sense for me. And I mean, I think I've only been going onwards and upwards since then. So,
Nice. Well, chat. Final call for if anybody has any other questions.
you have a
And
question for me on this day?
now is the time to ask. But
It's the time.
I will start winding it down. And first and
No
foremost, I would
worries.
like to personally say thank you again for doing this.
Yes.
It does mean a great deal to me that you said yes, and this was a lot of fun. A lot of people got to see
Yes.
you
It was so nice.
for a little bit more of an in depth version of you. Maybe
Yes.
something different. Leave the questions for later.
Yes.
Give both of them a follow. Another question. Thank you for the shout out. I was actually just about to do that.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Toasted I appreciate that very, very much.
He just changed his name, and it's. I'm still trying to get used to Toasted
You're
Sloth.
like, are you still you?
Yeah, it's one of those like I want to call him his other name, and I'm like he changed it on every platform. It seems disrespectful.
Well, it's all good.
But yeah, thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Chat, anybody in here, if y'all are not following her, you can call me Low. Oh, sweet. I will still call. Well, I'll try to transition into calling you Sloth. Is that okay? Or should it be Toasted? Which one do you prefer?
Ooh. Well, thank you so very, very much for having me. Thank you for inviting me to collab and talk about my journey. And you have a wonderful chat who is very nice.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
All right.
thank you so much. It's rare that you find somebody who's willing to be so just like genuine and honest when asking about all of this kind of stuff, because it's very easy to like try to make it kind of,
Mm-hmm.
canned or whatever. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it very, very much.
All right. And before we end, I'll give you the floor to give yourself another shout out for your subathon and everything coming up. Give them a little promo for
Yes!
everything coming up.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. So, once again, friends, my name is KemCosplay. I am a variety streamer who's been a cosplayer for over 10 years. I have to say it, otherwise I can't keep talking. I have a subathon coming up. It is August 14th for my 1-year affiliate subathon. I also have a fan art contest of anything from me to my magical trash panda to anything from stream, which I have prizes and all that fun stuff for. We have a great time on my channel, and whether it's your first time or your 100th, I hope that you come by. And thank you so much for all your time today. I really appreciate it.
All right, so chat, we're gonna switch on over to the just chatting and do our outro, and then we're gonna call it. But chat, thank y'all so much for coming in with all the love and support tonight. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I love y'all beyond y'all's understanding. Y'all coming through with the love and support. If y'all have not followed Miss KemCosplay, please go follow her. She's an amazing content creator. She's an amazing person as well. Y'all got to meet her on a more in-depth level tonight. And, you know, you get to meet people doing this a little bit better than I think just jumping into a stream once. So this might encourage y'all to go and see her more often. And I suggest it. She's amazing. And we may or may not be back tomorrow. So, you know, typically these are Monday streams. So I don't know if we will be streaming tomorrow or not.